And welcome to beautiful Catoosa, Oklahoma for a big matchup of Oklahoma high school football on a beautiful Friday night alongside Brady Salyers. I'm Cannon Poor. Thank you for joining us. Brady, this is a big matchup for both Catoosa and Claremore, coming off of a rough two weeks to start their season. What did you see week one from Claremore?
So one thing we've noticed about this Claremore team, going back looking at the stats, looking at the box scores, looking at everything that we can find, is they have been competitive. They've lost both games by a combined 7 points. So they are in the game. Their running game has been in command of most of those games, ruling over on time of possession. But they've had the opportunity to win the games. It just hasn't fallen in their favor.
Right, and then week one they lose a close game, 15-14, and then week two you kind of see on the box scores they had a good lead going into the second half, and they just kind of collapsed. It seemed like what happened there?
Yeah, Claremore, like we said, they controlled the pace of the game in the first half using that run game. They entered the half up 10-7. They struck first in the second half, putting up 14 points in the third quarter. But Oologah found something special in their passing game, scoring 23 unanswered points there in the fourth to overcome a 17-point deficit and escape with a win.
And for Claremore, I mean, obviously you're 0-2, but there are things you can look at in your game film and just you can take away that are positives. If you're the Zebras, I mean, Catoosa, they've played two very good teams in the first couple weeks, and you really have to focus on week one if you're the Indians, because week two was kind of a mauling. But week one, they were in it with a very good Pryor team.
Yeah, Pryor, head coach by Kenny Davis, they've been very competitive the last few years, made a deep playoff run that might have went further had their senior quarterback not suffered an injury in that final game, which they still won, but the next week was a little rougher going to the much younger option. So, like I said, a great opponent in Pryor. They were in a 10-point ball game. They cannot be upset about that. But week two, you have just got to let that one go, chalk it up just to some misfortunes, and have a very, very short memory and try to just to show up and take care of business here tonight.
Now, 0-2 for both these teams. I mean, obviously, there's different paths to 0-2. You can take a lot away if you're Claremore. Catoosa, not so much from one of their weeks. But 0-2, is that a hard start to come back from? Or if you get a win here tonight, is your season still alive?
So your season is very much still alive here in Oklahoma because neither one of these teams have entered conference play yet. So though they're both 0-2 right now, those two losses, though they're in that L column, they do not matter and have nothing to do with the playoff picture for these two teams.
And if you look at just how they've gotten there, I mean, their offensive statistics are absolutely mind-boggling, I would say. I mean, Claremore is very much on the ground, sort of wants to control the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, Catoosa, from what we've seen, is so far a very balanced offensive attack. It's hard to break down. I mean, Claremore's run game looks like a lot of fun, and it starts with their running back.
Oh, yeah, running back. We've talked about this. We've looked at the roster coming in at 6'1", 240. He's a big back. I'm going to assume he's probably a pretty physical runner. They are averaging 240.5 yards on a game rushing the football to 64.5 yards per game passing with a total of 319. So they are leaning, like you said, very heavily on that run game. And if they can get that thing going early here tonight, they could put them in a great position to control the pace of the game.
Absolutely. Now, if you're looking at Catoosa, I mean, we're going to not look at the Fort Gibson loss. It was bigger than they would have liked, but if you look at their offensive statistics, it's exactly how you want to play. 298 through the ground game, 302 through the rush, 600 total yards of offense through two games in the season. It looks like they're a very balanced attack on both sides.
Right, you're averaging 300 yards a game. That's not a bad deal, especially when you consider, like you said, the quality of that opponent. I mean, those teams have very, very good defenses that are going to make that stat column a little bit shorter. We might see them go out against a Claremore team tonight and blow this average away by 100 yards or so. They're, like I said, balanced, 149 yards per game on the ground, 151 through the air. But I expect to see the Indians air it out a little more here tonight. We saw what Oologah did in the fourth quarter last week, and we have a very, very speedy receiver on the outside that they may be able to take advantage of that.
I think that's a really good point. I think if you're Catoosa, you know that there's could be a secondary issue with Claremore. If you're Claremore, you try and ensure that up to not blow another late lead. But I mean, it's going to come down to really who can get their offense firing early and often, and it's really going to come down to can Claremore control that? Can can they control that line of scrimmage, and can they keep their offense on the field, because their best defense seems like their offense with their run game.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely think Claremore is going to handle the line of scrimmage. We think that's definitely going to happen. And the best part is, if Catoosa is looking to throw the football here tonight, they are going to be able to keep that quarterback off the field, make it a little bit harder for him to get in and stay in rhythm.
Really, yeah. We're talking. If you're looking at the Claremore statistics, and you can see them on your screen now. They've done well with their run heavy offense. 38 points they've scored. They've given up 45. That's they've given up 7 more than they've scored, which is a really good differential. Obviously we've put the asterisk by the Catoosa offense. They played 2 very good opponents. The point here I want to ask you too is, when you're playing the high quality opponents that Catoosa's played these first 2 weeks, does that help you when you get into your conference?
I think it does, because I think you are going to see what your team's made of. Because these kids, they know that they were going into number 5 prior, and went in there and in my opinion, gave that game their best shot and got out of there with a 10-point deficit. Hold your heads high. I mean, there's nothing to be upset about there in week 1. I feel like you see a little bit what you're made of, and finding things to work on against a very good opponent is much easier than going out and beating some smaller school by 40 points and thinking you have everything going your direction.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're Catoosa, you want to find out where your weaknesses are now rather than when you're trying to make a late playoff push later in the season. Like we said earlier, it's beautiful out here. One thing that could be a factor is weather. You're playing on a turf field. We talked about it earlier. It's a lot hotter down there. And at kickoff, you can see on your screen right now 85 degrees, which is just very hot for mid-September. How does that impact the players on the field?
Well, you know as well as I that conditioning is going to be a key element. We did talk that there are several two-way players for both teams. So conditioning and hydration are key. It's just, if not, you're going to have cramping issues. You're going to have personnel that's not on the field that could be making those key plays for your team, and you're going to have the second string in there, which could give up a big play and really make the difference in a ball game.
Absolutely. You referenced they have a lot of two-way players. You have several. I think you have 6 on Catoosa and 5 on Claremore, if I'm not mistaken. That is going to be something to watch. Maybe depth comes into play later on. Obviously, the weather will not be much of an impact come your late October, November games, but something to watch. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have National Anthem, we'll have kickoff, and we'll have starting lineups here for you on the Southern Sports Network.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
At NWA Getaways Dream Vacations, our goal is to relieve our clients of the vacation planning stress, as well as ensure that they get the best value for their investment. We love making suggestions that take their vacations from what they request to a level beyond their dreams. Our perfect client is that busy professional who wants to relax with friends and family, but doesn't want the stress of planning for it. I'm Debbie Corwin with NWA Getaways Dream Vacations, where we make your dream vacation a reality.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me, from starting my moving businesses to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
And welcome back to Southern Football Friday Night here on the Southern Sports Network. Beautiful sight to be seen at midfield here for the Catoosa Indians. Medical chopper flies in the game ball, and you can see they're gathering down there to receive it and really get this game going underway. But as we get closer to time for the game, really want to talk about our impact players here. Start with Claremore here, Brady. Going to be the tight end and defensive end, Ethan Grimmett. He's a two-way player, and we really want to see what he's made of. What do you see from him?
Again, they have told us that he's the leader of this team. So if somebody's going to get these Zebras fired up, ready to go, it is going to be Ethan Grimmett. They said that on the offensive side of the ball, he's got soft hands, he's got quickness. So maybe we see a little bit something with the Zebras breaking away from the rush yards of the game, and maybe they try to lean towards that, maybe throw their rival something a little bit different, get him involved. But I expect to see him make his biggest impact on the defensive side of the ball, trying to wreak havoc against that pass game that we think Catoosa might try to lean on based off of last week's game for Claremore.
Yeah, I agree with everything there. I mean, the defensive end, if he's quick like we've heard he is, he's going to be really good on that defensive front and really could make some noise. Meanwhile, if you're looking at Catoosa, we're talking about wide receiver and safety Colin Treat, another two-way player. What do you see from him?
So what we've been told about Colin Treat is speed and sure hands, which are things that you want at the wide receiver and at the safety position. So at wide receiver, if they took a look at last week's game film, they might try to get him involved early against that secondary that gave up all those points in the fourth quarter and try to get Claremore uncomfortable and away from their ability to run the football to stay in the ball game. And on the defensive side, safety, patrol in the middle of the field, if they do try to go deep, which we don't expect a lot of, he's got that speed to close and make those plays, and we might even see him involved in the blitz attack if they're really expecting a heavy dose of the run.
Absolutely. Sound defensive player, and I think even more so when you look at him on the offensive side. If all of Claremore's defensive attention is on him, then that opens up one of their other wide receivers, like a DeAndre Hamilton or a Kason Titch, to maybe get open for some passes. So really has an impact on both sides of the football there, maybe directly, maybe indirectly. But it's going to be an interesting thing to see as we move forward. And we're almost ready for the teams to run out here in Catoosa, Oklahoma, just outside of Tulsa. A beautiful night it's shaping up to be here. Thank you for joining us again on the Southern Sports Network. And it looks like we're going to see the teams run out, or we're going to have the national anthem first, and then the teams are going to run out for you. Well, while we have a minute here, Brady, both teams wearing some very cool uniforms. We saw the ball obviously flown in by the helicopter. I believe it's the 45th Infantry uniforms that they're both wearing tonight, Catoosa and Claremore.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I've been told this is a great game. They're both playing here. It is a rivalry, but it was the plan to honor the military tonight with those uniforms, which God bless all those guys overseas. Those are still serving, have served, paid that ultimate sacrifice, and those that plan to serve in the future, because we definitely owe them a debt of gratitude. Like you said, we are just moments away from kickoff here tonight. Teams running out the national anthem, and it is a beautiful Friday night here in Catoosa, Oklahoma.
beautiful rendition of the national anthem there by the Catoosa High School Choir. And looks like we have the Claremore Zebras out. They're going to be the first team out on the field, and they're going to take their sideline and going to be the away team here. Looks like if you look up in the stands, they're packed in here. They made the short road trip down here to Catoosa to come see their Zebras play.
Absolutely. Still people filing in at the gates on each end. You still see them on the tracks making their way around. The sun is going to set here soon. It's going to be a beautiful night. The field is already shaded. The far side stands are starting to get there as well. Man, I'm excited to get this one underway.
Absolutely. I mean, you look on paper, these are two teams that are looking for their first one of the season, two teams really looking to really kickstart their season, and two very different offensive attacks that are going to be exciting to watch. And you see the smoke rising, and looks like the band's lined up, and they're waiting for their Catoosa Indians to run out of their helmet, and then we can get this one underway with coin toss and first kick. But yeah, just a great crowd still filing in. Beautiful evening here. If you can't be here, we're glad you're joining us on the broadcast on Southern Sports Network, and just glad to be here.
And we haven't mentioned it yet, but there's not been like an official name for this game. So I was talking with Chris earlier this week, our producer, and we have come up with it and thought it was kind of funny. But we have dubbed this the Battle of the Blue Whale, and we are kind of excited about that. Going to see where that goes for us, but. Anyway, here come the Indians.
Yeah, to thunderous applause here. Those uniforms, they both look great. Obviously, running out with a few American flags. Like Brady said earlier, honoring the military, it's a beautiful thing for both teams to do, and we thank the men and women who have served or are serving currently and give us this opportunity to play football on a Friday night here. And going back to the blue whale thing, as I didn't know, why don't you explain that, Brady? Because I had no idea what the blue whale was. Where does that name come from?
So the Blue Whale is a roadside historic Highway 66 attraction that lies between Catoosa and Claremore. If you ever take the scenic route down there by Molly's Landing, you will see the Blue Whale floating off over there. Swing by, take some pictures, check it out. It's definitely worth seeing. So I was just kind of like, hey, why not the Battle of the Blue Whale?
It's a beautiful name and some good context there. As the captains meet at midfield, we're going to have the coin toss. And this is one that's always interesting to me, Brady. If you win the coin toss, where was your head? Do you defer and get your defense out there first, or do you want your offense to start out strong?
If I'm Claremore, I want the ball.
I want
to establish that dominance and the line of scrimmage and the running game first. If I'm Catoosa, I might want the ball as well, just to keep them from being able to do that. But if them establishing the running game is not a really big deciding factor, because that's their identity. So
absolutely.
Catoosa, I would expect to defer.
And it looks like whoever got it, I think Claremore did get the ball. They're going to defer. So I think we're going to see the Catoosa Indians offense out here first, and the captains shake hands and run back to their respective sidelines, and we're about ready for kickoff here on just a very beautiful and warm Friday evening in just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wind, not much of a factor here today. It's 1 mile per hour out of the north right now. So each end of the field, really not a big contributing factor. So hopefully we see a good competitive ball game. And somebody is leaving here with a mark in the W column. Somebody
gets out of here 1-2, and their season's back on track. Somebody gets out of here 0-3, has to go back to the drawing board on Monday morning at the film session. And like you said, with the wind not being much of a factor, we might see special teams come into play here. We saw several kickers and punters pregame for both teams, just drilling punts and kicks. Something that you don't think of a whole lot in the high school game, but special teams could be a factor here too. And with no wind, it most certainly will be.
Yeah, we saw the punter for Claremore pregame, and he was standing on the 50, and he released one that I felt like didn't have a whole lot of effort behind it, just warming up.
Absolutely.
It was fielded at the 9, so he's got a leg. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, we've got it teed up here. Claremore 2-kick away to get the first half started. we are underway in Catoosa. And Catoosa going to try and find a lane and gets back up to about the 23-yard line. That's where their offense will start. Their offense, really a very balanced attack like we mentioned in the pregame. Going to see if they can get both the run and pass game established. It's going to start behind their quarterback, Russell Duggar, and their running back, Mike Burnett. And then they have a trio of very talented receivers with Brock Ferguson, Kason Titch, and Colin Treat, our star player of the game that we mentioned pregame. And a little delay here before we start this one. Not sure what's going on here. The referees are signaling to each other.
I don't know. I think it might be an issue with the time on the play clock.
There we go, yeah.
I think they're going to get that sorted out, though, here pretty quick. Yeah, there we go. They got the 40 seconds on the play clock. I think that's what he was looking for. They started at 25.
All right. And now we're ready to play football, I think. Yes, we are. Russell Duggar going to start in the shotgun for Catoosa. They're in the All Blacks tonight. And going to bring a man in motion. And there's a fumble on play one, and it looks like the Zebras of Claremore are going to come out of there with it. And that's just how you want to start if you're the Zebras. Number 41, Keo Penn, jumps on that one and just didn't look like a good transition there.
So if this is the ideal situation right now for the Zebras, they forced a turnover the first play of the game. The ball is spotted on the 16-yard line. They are going to lean hard and heavy on that running game right here in the first series on offense.
And that run game going to get started very quickly. Looks like they're going to have one running back in the backfield, and they're just going to run behind that power offensive line. And Catoosa, with great penetration on the line there. Looks like number 61 was first there. That is Danny Rowe, the defensive tackle for the Indians. And going to be about a second and 13, second and 12.
And it's hard to tell from the first snap.
Absolutely.
But it does look like Catoosa has their ears pinned back. They were ready for run. They knew it's coming, and they brought it.
Is that a situation where if you think Catoosa's just on the front heels, do you try and maybe throw a pass out there somewhere, maybe to your tight end, and catch them off balance?
Hey, absolutely. I mean, I'll go ahead and let you finish this play here. But
absolutely. And Catoosa once again just ready for that play. Their defensive front looks like they're really ready for that run game, at least early on, second snap of the game.
So you ask about maybe throwing the ball. I think that's a good option. But right now, they don't have time to manage the handoff.
No.
Catoosa only has two guys outside of the box in these first two plays. So they are lining up saying, hey, throw the ball. Try it. They're challenging the Zebras, saying, look, we know you can run the ball. We know that's what you've been doing for 2 weeks. But we want to see you air it out.
And we'll see if they do try and air it out here on a third and very long. Quarterback Scott Kutzinger in the backfield. He's going to throw. And he's going to throw it out there to the wrong team. And that is intercepted, and that's a quick flip. Looks like that was number 7, Colin Treat, our impact player for Catoosa on the interception.
Again, no surprise there. We talked about Colin Treat with his quickness, with his sure hands. That ball was thrown a little far ahead of the receiver, but he was able to use his quickness to get out there, get that ball back for his team. And I'm going to be honest, I was really expecting to see the Zebras power through and punch that one in. That says a lot about that defense coming out there ready to play. They did their job, and now they've given their opportunity back to their offense, but they are on the 3-yard line.
Well, no time to settle in this one, Brady. Welcome to it. It's 2 turnovers in the first 2 minutes of game time. Back deep, they're just going to run the ball and find an opening. A big gain here. Looks like number 4, Mike Barnett, and that is going to get them well out of the shadow of their goal line and almost to midfield there. Great run by Mike Barnett.
Yeah, good thing there for the Catoosa offense. You never want to be in the shadow of your own goalpost at any time. So to break that one off on first down from the 3 is a big confidence booster for those guys up front, and it opens up the playbook for the coach.
Absolutely. Now anything open here, you got 3 wide receivers out, and we'll see how Catoosa decides to proceed here. Going to draw back and pass it. Looks like that's number 3 on the far side. DeAndre Hamilton, another solid gain, and Catoosa first couple plays after that fumble, they really look like they got something rolling on the offensive side.
Yeah, Claremore looked like they were set up to give up some yards underneath there. They weren't really pressing up tight on the line, so quick little out route to his wide receiver got him a first down and a fresh set.
And 2 plays, 2 first downs, and you're almost in midfield. Good start for this Catoosa offense on their second drive. Duggar going to keep it on the quarterback option, and he's got another solid gain. Looks like he's going to get about 9 on that one. And we've seen 3 separate looks here, or 3 different play types, and 3 very big gains here for the Indians.
It was a great read there by the quarterback, picking up 9 yards for the offense. Again, now you're here sitting here at 2nd and 1. Anything in the playbook's open. I would not be surprised to maybe see the Indians take a shot deep here.
Exactly what I was about to say. You know, you're 3rd and 1, you could, or 2nd and 1, you could really pick up that 3rd down and short if you don't get it. And Duggar with 2 options. He's going to motion 1 out wide, and he's going to give it. Looks like number 6 on the play. That is Legend Lore, and looks like no gain. The first time this Claremore defense has been able to stop him on this drive, and it's going to bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, the outside linebacker there for the Zebras came up, made the play. What we're seeing from the Zebras right now is we're not seeing a whole lot of pressure, mainly trying to stick with that front 4. Like I said, that linebacker came in late after read and run, but they are going to have to put some pressure on this quarterback. They're not going to be able to let him sit back in the pocket all day.
And the first time we'll see Duggar under center here. And he's just going to try and QB sneak it over the line, and it's going to be close. That spot looks like he got it. Yeah, they're going to move the chains.
From where I'm at, it looked like his forward progress got him there. First down and 10. Fresh set of downs. Let's see what Catoosa gets going here. They're at their own. They're on the Zebra 46-yard line. I think you're going to see some more of those underneath passes to try to get that secondary to creep up, and then maybe we take a shot over the top.
I think that's a smart call. You just try and get that Claremore secondary to bite and then throw one deep. Well, we've seen Duggar throw it early, and he's not going to throw it here. He's just going to hand it off again to his running back. And another solid gain. Like what we've seen out of Mike Barnett so far. A couple carries, and he's got some big gains there.
He's running very, very physical here tonight. And the best thing we're seeing for this offense is they're not in 2nd and long. They're not in 2nd and 8. They're setting themselves up at 2nd and 2, which helps you so much, especially in high school football, that you have so many more options on the table.
He's 2nd and short here. And he's going to another QB draw, and it's going to be a fumble, looks like. Who came out of there with it? Looks like they're going to say Catoosa got back onto that one. It looks like it popped. To me, it looked like it popped out there.
It did. He held onto it there. It looked like he went to kind of hurdle a guy on the ground and took a pretty good shot. Somebody got the helmet right on the football. Just very, very fortunate one of his teammates was able to fall on that, because this drive has been going about as smoothly as it could for the Indians.
Some good awareness. Not sure who got back on that, but good job for Catoosa to maintain possession here. And Duggar going to go under center here. Bring a man in motion, and we're going to see a handoff here to the left. That's once again Mike Barnett. We've called his name a few times in this first half, and going to be a short gain this time as opposed to the 2 massive plays he had early.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot going on the near side of the field here for us for Catoosa. Claremore, there was 3 Zebras in that area that Red run pretty quick and early and just stepped up, made the tackle. And now we're seeing them here at 2nd and 9, so let's see what the coach calls in for this situation.
As we mentioned before, they have a trio of great wide receivers here, star-studded with Colin Treat out wide as well. Maybe it's a chance we get to see them, or they just stick with this run game that seems like it's working so well. Anyways, Duggar going to get this play call in and take the snap and just hand it off again. It looked like he wanted to keep it and ended up handing it off to Barnett anyway, and not much doing there. Maybe a couple more yards. Going to bring up second and 6.
Yeah, looked like he was pretty hesitant there on whether to give or pull it, and ultimately end up giving it. I would like to see maybe send Barnett to the large side of the field. He does seem like he does move well in space. So if he can make one guy miss on the large side of the field, you don't know what's going to happen.
Feels like it might be a passing down here, and it is going to be out to his running back, and it's just going to be over his head and incomplete, and it's going to be 4th down and About 6, and you're in that situation where you're almost too far for a field goal and too close to punt it. So what do you do here?
Man, it's if you punt it, pretty good chance you're not going to stick them inside the 10. You're going to end up with a touchback. I think you go for it. You call your best play. And remember, you don't have to get the touchdown here. We only need 8 yards. So just call on the right play in the situation and give your team an opportunity to execute and hope that they can come away with the first down is definitely on the top of the priority list here tonight.
Looks like Duggar with a count to try and draw the defense off sides, which didn't work, and he's going to snap the ball now. Looking for one of his receivers. Now he's running, got plenty of room, and he's going to pick up that first down with ease and get out of bounds. A nice gain there, and it's going to bring up a new set of downs for this Catoosa offense. And really what you need here with a solid drive, you want to keep it going.
Yeah, they just used Duggar's speed there, like you said. They sent all those receivers deep, completely cleared the long side of the field. He was able to bootleg out and pretty easily pick up that first down. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't see more of that as the night goes on.
Well, with the 2 QB runs, you can see that Duggar's got some wheels. Going to take that snap low, and he looks like it's going to be a broken play. And, yeah, Claremore going to get in the backfield there for a loss. And going to bring up 2nd and 11. But, yeah, it looks like Duggar's got a few options in his artillery. He can run the ball. He looks like he's got a solid arm and just a good game manager so far.
Yeah, so far he's been doing really, really well. He's done really well in the run-pass option, or handing off the ball, whether to keep it, whether to dish it. Just the one play that we thought he was trying to pull it, and he ended up giving it. But anyway.
Using his little motion there, trying to throw Claremore off to no avail. Going to get back to the original line of scrimmage, it looks like, and bring up a 3rd and 10. And as Catoosa gets closer here to the end zone, I mean, you look like you might be in field goal range here, but you'd like to pick up another first down and really get in the end zone for 6.
Right, and we don't know much about their kicker yet.
Absolutely.
Does he have the leg? Is he accurate enough? They just drew the guy there and going to get a free 5 yards. But again, here we are. As we got closer to the red zone, Claremore has stiffened up a little bit. We were at 3rd and 11. They just got a free 5 yards, so we're going to replay that down. Now they have a lot more manageable down a distance to go to obtain that first. So wouldn't surprise me to see another QB run. Also wouldn't surprise me to see one of those quick out routes that they ran earlier in this drive.
And, yeah, when you cut 5 yards off of it, everything comes back to you. And it looks like he's trying to get him off sides again, Duggar. And they're going to change the play here. 3rd down and 5 for the Indians. Snap the ball, give it on a handoff. Nope, it's going to be a QB run, and there's a flag on the play. Pending the flag, we'll see what happened. He did get enough yardage for the first down. It just depends on which team the flag is on.
Yeah, we're waiting to see what the call on the penalty is. It looks like it's going to go against the
call.
Zebras. So that's unfortunate because they just went from a 3rd and 5 to a 3rd and 15. So you're back in that situation. Just take your shot downfield because you don't want to punt this football. So if you are the Indians here, what are you thinking? Like, what play do you think this coach is going to pull out of his hat? Like, what's in your mind?
I really like the run. I mean, not the run. The pass game so far has looked really good. Duggar has impressed me with his arm, but he's got the ability to run it. Maybe you roll Duggar out on some play action and see if you can find an open receiver here.
We got the speedster, our impact player, lined up here in the slot. Who knows?
Absolutely. Good call from you. And Duggar going to drop back, and he's not going to find anything. Going to roll out, see if he can extend the play. Going to throw it down there, just a home run ball, and it's caught!
Wow, the pass looked like it was going to be easily broken up, and he just went over the top and pulled that thing in for an Indian touchdown. I was fully expecting that pass to be like 100% broken up. The defensive player was in position. You can see it here in the replay on your screen. What a catch, just right over the fingertips of number 19.
And that is number 0 or 00 rather, Brock Ferguson on the catch, and it just goes to show, I mean, Russell Duggar with his ability to extend the play, and they're going to run they ran a 2-point conversion and got it, I believe.
Yeah, threw that ball on the run, getting ran out of bounds, saw his man deep, knew that it was that it was 4th down, that he didn't have a shot there, as far as punting the football, if they were just going for the end zone or bust. So worst case scenario, you throw it up, give your man an opportunity to make the play. If they would have intercepted it in the end zone, that's the same as a punt. So no big worry there. Good awareness by the QB, and it resulted in a touchdown.
And what a good start for this Catoosa offense after giving up a fumble on their first play of the game. They've responded well with a touchdown and 2-point conversion, both coming through the tight end Brock Ferguson, and 8-0. It's a good start for this offense.
What a 97-yard drive for that offense. Started with the interception on the 3-yard line by was our impact player.
Colin Treat, the wide receiver and
yeah,
safety.
He made the interception in there on the 3-yard line. Set him up got the ball back after the fumble. Nerves calmed down, made a good long drive, and that throw and catch in the end zone there. I mean, that was money. I mean, I was very, very impressed. Thought that one was 100% going to get batted down. So let's see if the Zebras can answer.
Well, Brady, we're going to get to call one of our favorite names pregame. Their kicker for Catoosa, his name is Fudi Yang. And he will tee it up for the Indians here and see how far he can kick it.
Very fitting name.
Oh, beautiful name for a kicker. It's great. And he's got it teed up, ready to kick it off, and kicks it deep. The Zebra's going to take it from about the 15, see if he can find a lane. And not a bad return there for the Zebras as he gets about the 30-yard line, and that's where the Zebras offense will set up shop. That was number 37 on the return.
Yeah, great field position here to start the drive for the Zebras. We saw an Indian team from Catoosa that was bringing the heat on the first drive, stacking the box, daring them to throw the football, and they end up with a big turnover when they did actually throw it. So let's see what the Zebras have dialed up here on their second drive of the game, see if they can maybe get some momentum sway in their direction.
Looks like it's going to be a run to start, and Catoosa just says, hello, welcome to Tulsa, and they're in the backfield once again. And at some point, you got to wonder if Claremore decides to maybe change up their game plan a little bit and incorporate some passing game.
Yeah, so what I did see there, Cannon, is I did see the far side of the field. I saw one defensive back over there to beat. Maybe you consider getting your quarterback involved in the run game here a little bit too, a little misdirection, and bootleg out, get the wide receiver on the block and try to get something going that way.
Anything really to get it started, and they're going to bring a receiver around and going to see if they can get something going. It looks like they can. He's got the edge, and we're going to get 15 more. It looks like a horse collar tackle as well, and that'll be number 37 on the run. I don't believe we have a name on him. Looks like the lineup is blank for me.
Yeah, same.
So we'll refer to him as number 37 until we're told otherwise. But
number 37, good hard run there by number 37.
Absolutely.
He shall remain nameless. Definitely happy to see him jump right back up following that horse collar. First and 10 here for the Zebras. I think they're going to try to keep it on the ground. They're over into Indian territory. I think they're going to try to establish that run game and use that to maybe open up the pass. To me, that feels like that's the move that they want to do because they do like to run it a whole lot more than they pass it. So
it's going to be interesting to see how much they incorporate the pass game because we do know that they are a run-heavy offense, but if they get down too much too quickly, you're going to have to start throwing it. But if you can make runs like we just saw, you're really not going to have to. Cutzinger with a running back to his side in the backfield here, going to bring another man in motion. And maybe motion's their key. Number 17 on the offense, going to make a big run for them.
Yeah, using the motion to create the misdirection, kind of draw your linebackers to one side or the other. They trying to figure out who's getting the ball and force them to make a read. But one thing I'm seeing we do talk about, are they going to throw the ball much? Again, Catoosa's daring them. They're stacking the box. You had a wideout over here on the near sideline with one man to beat. If you have that speedy, sure-handed wide receiver, it would not surprise me to see the Zebras take a shot.
Absolutely. And a quarterback run. Looks like Cutzinger's going to pull it back out and take it himself. Going to get a good gain there and out of bounds. Looks like a gain of about 6, but that's another look we haven't seen in their run game. But whether it's motion or the quarterback pulling it out, they're getting yardage and they're getting it in chunks right now.
Claremore is finding some success right now with the misdirection. Putting guys in motion, faking that handoff there to the running back, taking it himself, calling his own number, setting up a second and manageable, which keeps them in the run game. So let's see what they have dialed up here for 2nd and 5.
Looks like David Lozoya in the backfield here for Claremore, and the give's going to beat to him. and he's going to be met by a slew of Catoosa Indians for a loss.
Yeah, it looked like Ferguson, first one to sling him down back there in the backfield. So now you're back at 3rd and 10, which or it looks like it might be 3rd and 11 now. So now your playbook's closed down a little bit. You can't really rely on that run unless you are putting yourself in 4-down territory, saying, look, we're not going to punt the football once we're inside the 40. And so we're going to give ourselves those 2 plays. But let's see if maybe we do see the Zebras try to air it out.
And we know something about Russell Duggar, the quarterback for Catoosa. We don't know a whole lot about Cutzinger yet for this Claremore offense. We'll see a little bit from him here, and it's going to be another misdirection, and they had it sniffed out from the beginning there. It looks like number 61 in the backfield early for Catoosa. That is Danny Rowe bringing down number 37, Eli Rogers. And, you talked about maybe it's 4-down territory. There's no way it's 4-down territory. Now you got to punt it.
Not after a loss like that. They pushed them back beyond the 40. Fully expect to see the Zebras punt this one away. They tried. I think it looked like they tried the reverse there.
Yeah, they did.
And the Indians just had a man right there at the exchange, and it went nowhere.
Well, Catoosa in punt formation, or excuse me, Claremore in punt formation. Going to rush one more out quickly and try and get this one away before the play clock expires. It's down to 3, and they get the ball off, and it's going to be a muffed snap, and you're just going to have to eat that there, as Catoosa sniffed that out from the beginning, and the Indians are going to have great field position again.
Catoosa's defense has showed up tonight. They let them get past the 40, then they back them up, get a couple of big plays, even stopped the trick play. They got the turnover to set them up on the 3-yard line for the 97-yard drive and the score on the last time. This time, much better field position on the 39, already in Zebra territory. I fully expect to see this offense come out there and just try to impose their will on them, get up by 2 scores, and make the Zebras lean on something other than that running game. If you start getting a 2 to 3 score lead, they have to try some shots downfield because they can't just milk the clock all night.
And that's the problem with an offense like that, is if you get out of your comfort zone, you have to throw it. And this first quarter has been nothing short of exciting. A few turnovers, we got some action, we got a great throw for a touchdown here. Duggar going to send a man out in motion, going to look to him and then look downfield, and he's just going to throw that one. We'll try and throw it away. It fell down between a few Claremore defenders there, and
I do think the defensive lineman got a hand on his arm there coming forward. He was getting very close to possibly stripping that ball out. So as his arm went forward, I think he maybe got his bear paw up there and hit his arm, because that ball did not go anywhere near towards his intended target.
And it looks like Duggar's limping a little bit, and he's going to come out of the game, I believe. Yeah, he's not putting any pressure on his left ankle, and going to bring in a new quarterback. I believe it will be number 5 for Catoosa. That'll be Kason Titch. Another two-way player on this offense. And we'll see what he's got drawn up. They're just going to hand it off here, see if they can get their first string patched up. But no big deal if you've got number 4, Mike Barnett, in the backfield. Another big run from number 4. And Catoosa's offense looks like they're picking up right where they left off in the last drive.
That offensive line is doing a great job of setting the edge here on the near side, giving him all kinds of room to either try to stretch it out or cut it upfield. He's got great quickness, agility, and like you said, there's an easy first down there for the Indians. We're just sitting here wondering what they're going to do with the quarterback change, and then the running back shows us, hey, I'm still here.
Just a great run from Barnett. We've seen great stuff from him so far. Going to fake the end around, and it looks like Claremore just going to get a slew of defenders in the backfield quickly to get the quarterback down, and it'll be 2nd and long as we see on this near side by the track. It looks like Russell Duggar just getting his ankle taped up. Hopefully nothing more serious than that. And
yeah, Kason tried to step up in the pocket there, but that pocket was just collapsing. Good job there by the Zebra defense to set up 2nd down and long here as we go to a timeout.
And that is the end of the first quarter, I believe. 8-0 Catoosa at the end of 1. We'll be right back here on Southern Sports Network.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
And Welcome back to Catoosa, Oklahoma, as we switch ends for the second quarter. 8-0 Catoosa here. That score is does not indicate how exciting that first quarter was. We had a few turnovers. We had a lot of offensive action, and ultimately it's been a fun game so far, Brady.
Absolutely. We've seen Catoosa fumble the opening play, recovered by the Zebras deep into Indian territory. And then we saw that interception on the 3-yard line that set up a 97-yard touchdown drive. I feel like there's going to be more moments like that as this game goes on. And I don't think that's a knock on either team. This is week 3. You're trying to get those things ironed out before you hit conference division play, whatever you want to call it. So let's see. Do we have the starting quarterback back in here?
We do not.
We do not. So let's see what they can dial up here on 2nd and long.
Case and Titch back there as the quarterback, and going to bring a man in motion. That is our star player, number 7, Colin Treat, and he's going to get back and maybe a little more, but now it looks like just right back to the line of scrimmage, or the original line, and it'll be 3rd down and 10 here for the Indians.
Yeah, you hate to see it for the Indians right now, but they might be a little more one-dimensional right now, which is going to help out the Zebras. 3rd and long, the playbook is pretty limited right now. They're going to be going for the first down. Let's see what kind of pass we can maybe see here from Titch.
And as Duggar sits on the trainer's table talking to an athletic trainer, we're going to have 3rd and long here, see what Titch's arm is made of, and it's going to be a good throw and caught. And they're going to muscle their way down to a first down. That is an incredible pickup by number 11, Aiden Taft.
Titch threw a dart, and you'll see it here on the replay. I mean, it did look like a pretty risky throw, but he stepped right up in the pocket and delivered that ball. His man went up and got it and picked up the yards for the first down. Here we go, 1st and 10 at the 16.
Well, it helps when you have a solid receiving core like Catoosa has around you. Makes your, if you're the backup, maybe you're a little more comfortable. Tate's going to take the snap and hand it directly off to their star running back, Mike Barnett, and he's going to be met in the backfield for no gain. I think if you're Claremore right now with your star with Catoosa's star quarterback out, you know they're going to try and run the ball really right now.
Absolutely. We've seen number 4 Barnett on some great runs though, so I'm not really worried about them being limited that way. They could even give the backup quarterback a few options there as far as faking it, doing some play action, give him an extra second, maybe hit a man downfield, or keep it himself. We do know that he has got his wheels of his own.
Bringing a man in motion and going to give it to him in another fumble. Looks like Catoosa got back onto that one, but that's 2 fumbles on plays exactly like that, and got to wonder if maybe you take that out of the playbook now with almost 2 turnovers.
So that's here's what I'm thinking happens here, Cannon. I'm thinking you have your backup quarterback in, that he's used to getting that ball from Duggar. So the handoff's normally a lot smoother, a little quicker, and that exchange just didn't go as smoothly with Titch in at quarterback.
And the conversation continues on the sideline with Russell Duggar, the starting quarterback, and a couple coaches are over there now. Titch going to take the snap, look downfield, nothing doing. He's going to take off and run with it. Plenty of room. Going to get close to the first down in the line to gain, and I think they're going to get. No, wait. Excuse me. He's back to the original line of scrimmage.
So that's going to bring up 4th down. Maybe we see what Foodie Yang has here for the Indians. Maybe are they going to try a field goal? They're going to go for it. Looks like they're setting up in a field goal formation. So let's see if Yang can stick it between the uprights and give the Indians a 2-possession lead here tonight.
And this is a part of the game in high school that's a little shaky. Snap down, and the kick is good from Foodie Yang. And he's celebrating on the field accordingly. That was a great kick.
Yeah, go Foodie. Hey, with a name like that, I'm happy to see he was a kicker. When we saw him on the roster, we were like, please tell me that the guy named Foodie is the kicker for the Catoosa Indians. And she was like, absolutely. Looks like he had plenty of height on that one. I don't know how much more range he has as we get deeper into the game. But it looks like he took most of his focus on getting that one high enough just to sail through those uprights. He'll be teeing the ball up here again here for the Indians. And so now you're Claremore, Cannon. Mm-hmm. You're down 11-0.
Absolutely.
We have 9:20. Is that 9:14 left in the half? What are you thinking? What's your thought process? I'm thinking maybe we don't have the downfield throw. Maybe that's not in our arsenal. Maybe we use some play action, throw some swing passes, just trying to get some speed on the perimeter.
I think that's right on. I think we saw misdirection on the last drive that worked for them very well. I think maybe you get a throw in there from Cutzinger every once in a while, but an 11-point deficit in the second quarter, you really don't have to get away from your game plan yet. If it gets any more out of hand than that, maybe you consider it, but I think you see them just continue to run the ball, maybe mix a few passes in there and try and catch this Catoosa defense off guard.
Big focus needs to be they need points.
They need to convert something here. They need to get in field goal range. They need to get in the end zone. Something.
They are giving the ball to the Indians at the third quarter.
Absolutely. And Fudi Yang going to kick it away just in the corner of the at the 10-yard line. That's going to be number 17 for the Zebras.
It looked like number 17 tried to put a move on somebody right there and just took himself down.
Yeah.
But down around the 20-yard line, not horrible field position. Like you mentioned, the run game's not out of the play yet, an 11-point game. They could be who they are and try to grind this clock out and go in if they take a 2-point conversion, just down a field goal or down 4 if they kick the point after.
Yeah, I don't think you want to give it back to Catoosa under any circumstances right now with how their offense is clicking. Now, maybe with the backup quarterback it's a little different, but we could see what they do here. They're not going to abandon the run game just yet, and why not when you can get a gap like that? Number 17 looks like a David Lozoya once again. He's down to about the 29, a gain of 8.
Again, now we're at 2nd and 2. Playbook's open, but I do expect to see the Zebras running the football more here, like we talked about. They could grind the clock out, try to get some points on the board. I'm with you on keeping the Indians' offense on the sideline. I don't think you want them to get any more momentum right now.
And just a steady dose of offense here, and they're going to try and run it again. Maybe a short gain, but nothing more. Going to bring up about 3rd and 2. And as you see, we look on the sideline. Looks like Russell Duggar might be taking his pads off, and with some ice on his ankle. So we'll see how that plays out as we have a player down here on the field right now for the Indians.
It could just be a precaution with Duggar getting some ice on it.
Could be.
You're up 11-0 in the second quarter with 8 minutes left. Maybe they're thinking that Claremore's going to try to run some clock out here, maybe put together a long drive, and Duggar's just going to get some rest here, maybe go inside, get taped up, come back out in the second half ready to go. We don't know what's going to happen yet, and
we certainly don't want to speculate either.
We definitely don't want to speculate. I think we're going to go to a short break, so we'll see you guys here in a few moments.
Hello everyone, I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
And we're back here in Catoosa, Oklahoma. While you were away, the downed player for the Indians was number 61, the defensive tackle, Danny Rowe. He got up and walked off under his own power and looks to be okay. So we'll get back to action here with a 3rd and short for the Claremore Zebras. And a nice run up the middle, and going to be just short of that first down, it looks like. Once again, Lozoya on the run there for the Zebras, and now you bring up a tricky position here with 4th and very short.
I don't know if I consider it as tricky right now, knowing that Duggar's on the sideline.
Fair enough.
Because they've leaned heavy on the run since he came off, not as much on the pass. So 4th and 1, you definitely do not want to give the Indians the ball on your own side of the field, setting it up at the 30-yard line if they were able to get the stop. I think it's a smart move here to punt it away and hope that defense can make a play and maybe force a punt and get the Indians off the field somehow.
Well, it seems like Claremore didn't have all their eggs in their basket, and they're going to have to call a timeout here. They were rushing individual players on the field, and the play clock was about to expire. So I don't think we're going to see a change in play here. like you said, it's a little too early to be going for it on 4th down that deep in your own territory. But Catoosa going to get another shot here before halftime. They've looked good on 2 of their 3 offensive drives so far. Obviously, the first play they fumbled, but it's going to be interesting to see how this offense does with Case and Titch at quarterback, a wide receiver, and I guess their backup quarterback. He's looked good the first few plays we've seen him.
Yeah, we saw the one fumbled exchange on the reverse. So if I'm Claremore, maybe I'm thinking, hey, we might have an opportunity to get the ball back from them in a better position and force a turnover. Catoosa has been very fortunate that they were able to fall on their own turnovers and not give the ball away. That's been I believe even on one of the scoring drives, there was a turnover that they picked up themselves on the quarterback read option. So let's see what we got going on here.
And another bad snap on the punt, and they're going to get it away. Not even going to get anywhere near the punt returner for Catoosa, Colin Treat. But they're going to get – it looks like Catoosa's going to get the ball around midfield, and that was just another bad snap and execution on special teams for Claremore.
Yeah, and that's – like you said another. That's the second time we've seen that bad snap on the punt. Definitely an adjustment that's going to need to be made and something that needs to be fixed. You need to be able to get that ball in your punter's hand so he can boot it away.
And to Keogh Pinn's credit, the punter for Claremore, he at least got the ball on the hop there and got it away, which is a much better result versus just trying to fall on that ball or giving it away to Catoosa right there.
Well, we did see him punting it 40 yards without looking like he was putting a lot of effort into it in pregame.
If you can just get the ball to him.
So if you get the ball to him, we might be on the 25 if we got a good bounce versus the 45.
Looks like Catoosa going to start here at the 46-yard line, going to hand off the ball. Or the quarterback keeper, actually. Fooled everyone, including me. And a good run to start this drive from Case and Titch. And he's going to pick up a first down there with his legs.
Again, we knew that Titch, being part of those 3 wide receivers we talked about, had great speed. Looks like he made a good read there and pulled back, because like you said, it fooled us up here in the booth. Picked up 10 yards for the first down. Maybe, Titch, it changes the game plan a little bit. Now you're going to lean a little more on the read option, maybe make a few more plays that way. It changes your play calling based off your quarterback skill set. But maybe the Indians are going to drive one down here and put it in the end zone before half.
Catoosa has done a really good job, it seems to me, adapting with their backup quarterback in here. As Titch gets the snap, he's going to hand it off. This one going to be met by a couple zebras at the line for no gain. It'll be second down and long, but I've been impressed so far. They've been able to pivot to the ground game mostly and pretty effectively here so far with their starting quarterback down.
Absolutely, and that's where the skill set you have in your offensive coordinator when he realizes, okay, I don't have my guy anymore, but what can I do with my backup? What's his skill set? How can we adapt and put together a new plan that we didn't already have in place to still go out there and win this football game?
Second down and about 12 here for the Indians. Going to be a passing down. Titch going to throw it out there, and it's going to be caught. Looks like number 7 out there, Colin Treat. And he's doing everything tonight. He's making plays on defense, making a few catches on offense, and he's also their return man.
Yeah, Treat stretched out there to get that gain for a couple of yards there for the Indians. Third down and 10. We do see Treat out here on the near side of the field in the slot. Right now there's only one guy over the top. So and here they come. Okay, they've realized who they've left alone out here.
They heard you.
Yeah, they heard me. So here we go. It's third down and 10. Let's see what they got dialed up.
You got to figure your playbook open here with how we've seen Titch be able to throw the ball at least effectively, and we're going to call it, looks like a timeout here for the Indians. And we'll take a timeout with them. We'll be right back here on the Southern Sports Network.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
And welcome back to Catoosa, Oklahoma. as the Indians are going to face a third and very long here breaking the huddle. Backup quarterback Kaysen Titch has done a pretty good job managing the game since he came in early in the second quarter, and we'll see what he can do here. Going to have 3 wide receivers out, including their star man Colin Treat. Going to roll out to the near side, put it up, and just see if somebody can catch it. And it is caught, but by the wrong team. Is Claremore going to come down with that interception? That's a big stand for their defense to get that Indians offense off the field and give them a chance.
Great boost of pride there for that defense coming up with a turnover. 5 minutes remaining in the half. We did talk about when they punted that football, maybe knowing they had that opportunity to create a turnover. So 5 minutes left here. The playbook is completely open. We do know that they use the one timeout. But let's see if the Zebras can punch one in and make it a one-score game going in at halftime.
And maybe a little bit of backup quarterback indecision there. You don't have to throw it, but he tried to make something happen, and in result, Claremore going to have the ball here on offense. Going to come out throwing as well. Cutsinger's pass is caught by their wide receiver, Larry Wisenhunt, for a very short gain, but maybe trying to establish that passing offense here.
I think that's the first time we've seen the Claremore offense on the field with a larger than a one wide receiver set. So they know that they need to get the ball moving and get it to the perimeter, try to get downfield and score here before the end of the half. And so maybe we're going to see them air it out a little bit here, but I fully expect to still see some run mixed in.
Well, Cutsinger's made a few good throws early on, and that's going to open up the run game there. An impressive run forward for Lozoya, and that'll bring up a quick 3rd down and about 5.
A good run there by Lozoya, bringing up 3rd down and 5, as you mentioned. So that does a great deal for a team that does lean more on the running game. They have the option to run it, but I do think we're going to see more of a pass play here, trying to get the first down as time's running down here in the second half. But now you only have to throw it 5 yards. Your options are much better. You don't have to get downfield to get the full 10. So I do think that we're going to see something maybe from the quarterback here from Claremore, and maybe a quick out, maybe a good slant right there across the middle, because they are still bringing the heat. They're still putting a lot of guys in the box. They have got those ears pinned back. Maybe even a screenplay would be money. I don't think we've seen a screen tonight.
We haven't. Looks like they've got a few more wide receivers than normal out wide, and Cutsinger's got some options here. And did they draw him off sides, or did he come off? Yeah, it's going to go against Catoosa, I believe.
It just gave him the free one.
And you can't do that.
So they were sitting there at 3rd and 5, needing to convert, fresh set of downs following the penalty. What I did see out here on the near side is we had trips with only 2 guys up pressing. So you have the opportunity there to run an easy bubble screen pass, get 2 guys on the block, and try to get something going down the sideline, or at least get an easy 5 yards, because the nearest guys past those 2 were a good 10, 15 yards deep into the secondary.
Would have been an interesting look to see if that play came to life, but it didn't. Now a large drop from Cutsinger. He's going to dump it off, and there's a flag on the play. Looks like number 37 on the catch. That'll be Eli Rogers.
I think I saw the signal here from the side judge that it was a block in the back. I'm not 100% sure. We'll get the call here pretty quick. But that is very unfortunate if that is the case for this offense, trying to get some momentum established and put some points on the board here as the half is dwindling down.
Well, it will be on the Claremore offense, and that's backbreaking, especially because they're a run-heavy offense, and that puts them well off schedule. They are going to be first down at a country mile.
Yeah, clock is running here. We're just fixing to go under 4 minutes. I think if you're the offensive coordinator for the Zebras, you are pulling out your absolute best play, trick play, whatever it might be, trying to make something big happen here on this down, 1st and 21.
Cutzinger going to roll out and find his man caught, and that's going to get the penalty yardage back and more. That is number 88 for them, Micah Teal. And a good gain right there. for the Zebra offense.
Great play design there by the offensive coordinator. He knew what he had. He knew he had a defense that has been bringing it all night. He rolled his quarterback out to his right, had the guy wide open right there in the flats to get a lot of those yards back and set up second down and manageable after that unfortunate penalty. Playbook's back open.
We've got second down and 5 or 6 here. And as expected, they're going to hand it off this time. And a good gain here from number 37, Eli Rogers. And it'll bring up a very short third down, a much shorter third down than we thought 2 plays ago was possible.
Yeah, I was watching the play develop there, and I really thought he was going to cut it upfield up on this near side block, but he tried to take it outside and came up just a little bit short. But here we are. It's third down and 3. No big deal here for the Zebras. They can hand the rock off, or they can maybe get a little more involved in that pass game, like a little short pass to the flats on the rollout, something that we've seen from them a little bit on this drive, trying to make something happen here against the Indians in the Battle of the Blue Whale.
The big Battle of the Blue Whale rages on, and third down, Cutzinger going to pull it out and go ahead and run for the first down. And that's a good run there from the quarterback, Scout Cutzinger.
A great decision there by Cutzinger. He saw the off-balance look, made the easy decision to pull it there and call his own number. Easy run, easy first down. The drive's still alive. You're about to that 2-minute mark, so still plenty of time for this offense to get in the end zone.
And more importantly, if you're Claremore, less time for this Catoosa offense if they get the ball back at all. But looks like Cutzinger going to have a few wide receiver options out wide. Going to drop back to pass it. Throws downfield, and it's going to be... Was that caught?
I think
incomplete.
Okay, I thought we had an OBJ moment there.
I thought we did too.
I thought he went up and one-handed that thing, and I think he caught it, but I don't think he completed the process of the catch and got a foot in bounds.
Looks like that was Larry Wisenhunt on the as the intended receiver, and I thought as we see the replay, it looked like he caught it. Maybe he just didn't get a foot down.
Yeah, that's all I could tell. I mean, like I said, it looked like he maintained the football.
As there's the run by Cutzinger. I'm not sure. I think he caught it and just couldn't get his feet down. But
yeah, it was on the far sideline. It's kind of hard to tell from our view, but what an effort!
Oh, absolutely. And he looks like Wisenhunt might be the favorite target of Cutzinger. He's got 2 targets so far, and going to be a timeout here. Looks like Claremore and head coach Jarrett Hurt did not like what they saw, so they're going to call a quick timeout.
Yeah, let's see. Do they not like what they saw, or is he seeing this one-on-one matchup out here, and he's thinking it's 1st and 10. We're on the 29. There is 1:43 left in the half. Let's take a shot.
Maybe let's take a shot. Let's live a little dangerously here, and if it gets picked off, they're on the opposite side of the field and pretty far from scoring. But I mean, this is an encouraging drive for Claremore, and you've at this point with 1:43 remaining in the first half, you've got to be thinking some form of points.
Right. Yeah, you need to get this back to a 1-score game at all costs, even if it's a field goal. I mean, your field goal, you're a touchdown 2-point conversion away. No big deal. Make your adjustments at the half, come back out, and try to make things happen for your team.
I think the touchdown is preferable. The field goal would be a much welcomed addition. Claremore has played well on offense. They just haven't been able to punch it in yet for several different reasons. But their best chance here, I feel like, tonight, 1st down and 10, is you mentioned that one-on-one matchup down there. They're not going to look to it. They're just going to run the ball. That looks like number 17 again, Lozoya, and pick up a few yards as that clock just runs down. 1.5 remaining in this first half.
Yeah, clock continues to melt away. I'm just sitting here thinking, we talked about this Claremore offense asserting their dominance and getting the run game going, and I think it's been pretty obvious that the Catoosa's defense's answer to that is, all right, we know those front 5 can block and create a hole, but tell them to block 8 guys.
And it looks like Catoosa fell asleep again. They just rushed a defender out there. They had a wide receiver uncovered on the far side. Going to go to the pass game here, and it looks like a little... Yeah, it's going to be incomplete regardless. Looked like there was a little contact beforehand, but nothing the referees found fitting to call a flag on. That was just going to be an incomplete pass, and 3rd down now for the Zebras.
Again, we're looking at time melting off the clock. We're fixing to go under the minute mark. I would maybe, if thought maybe we would look for a pass to the outside to stop that clock, get maybe first down yardage, maybe get a play down the sideline, and if you're going to get hit, get out of bounds and stop that clock to give your offense one more opportunity.
And here's the question, too, for Claremore. We don't know a great deal about their kicking game. As Cutsinger's going to roll out and find his target complete. And there's a fumble. He's fumbled the ball, and Catoosa's on top of that one at the 1 yard line.
Unfortunate for the Zebras. That is the same play that we saw back here on 1st and 25 where they rolled out. He was wide open again, made a little contact, powered through, and just lost the football around the 10-yard line going forward, and the Indians fell on it. Looks like they're going to spot it at the 2, and that is a big kick in the gut to the Zebras. I mean, they're sitting there thinking, hey, our man's going to either punch you in, we're going to be first and goal with this run game, less than a minute left in the half, and something like that happens. It's very unfortunate. Now, if you're the Indians here, are you coming out here just going to get this clock melted, get to the half, or are you going to try something special?
I believe they're going to just try and get out of your own end zone and then kneel it. As they're going to run the ball here and get out of their end zone and get a little bit more. That'll be, once again, Barnett on the carry. He's been the workhorse for them in the first half. And that might...
They're calling a timeout.
Looks like somebody called a timeout, yeah.
The Zebras took a timeout there. I'm
curious.
Not 100% sure what they have in mind there, giving the Indians another opportunity to run a play, because if they would have let the clock run down, that would have left just 5 or 6 seconds left on the game clock for the Indians, and I'm pretty sure they would have probably just took a knee.
Yeah, I think I would agree there. I'm not sure exactly why Claremore takes a timeout there, because now you give Catoosa a chance to talk it over in their own huddle and say, hey, maybe we just take a shot and see if it works.
Right. I mean, we do have Cullen Treat out there at the wide receiver spot. Fast, sure hands, game notes for that guy. He's blazing fast and has sure hands. Why not give him an opportunity? I think Claremore's out of timeouts.
They are.
So you could take a shot and still run it out during the clock out on 3rd down.
And
Go ahead. Do expect to see him just run the ball again, though, and get this thing to halftime.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no reason to complicate it here, or maybe even throw a pick 6. Looks like they might be in victory formation here, which would signal that they're just going to take the knee and go into half. And that's what they will do. Catoosa will take a knee here on inside their own 5 after a good defensive stop by the Indians. They're going to go ahead and take a halftime lead up 11-0. Looks like they might have to kneel the ball one more time.
Yeah, I think there's going to be like 2 seconds on the clock when I was looking at the difference in the play clock and the game clock. But what an exciting first half. The scoreboard of 11-0 does not compare to what the game that we've watched. I mean, that fumble on the 2-yard line was very deflating to the Zebras. And I think they're going to make a few adjustments at the half, and I think we're going to have as a ball game.
I would agree with you. It's been a fun first half to watch. The scoreboard does not indicate how good the game's been. Several turnovers, a lot of exciting moments, and we'll recap it all in the halftime report coming up and see what kind of adjustments both coaches make. But right now we're going to send it to break up with Catoosa up 11-0 on Claremore at halftime.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University.
Having a body is tough. Exercising, sports, work, and life itself can leave you feeling tense at any age. The Trainer's Table is here for you. No appointments or memberships needed because you can't always plan ahead for when you're physically sore. The Trainer's Table. Let us stretch you.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired at Northeastern State University.
Hi, Peyton Hillis here for Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing. I've scored for the Hogs and for the NFL, but now my whole family has scored big finding this amazing store. Ozark Sportsman has everything a sportsman wants. The best firearm selection and gun safe choices anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. And a 15-lane indoor range and so much more. Ozark Outpost Clothing has all the hot boutique brands for women. And hey guys, our favorite brands also. Score big savings on top brands and follow me to Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me, from starting my moving businesses to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Hello everyone, I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech-language pathology, and more.
And welcome back to Catoosa, Oklahoma. Exciting first half, Brady. Really, the story was not exactly what we thought. It ended up being the turnover game early and often.
Absolutely. We've seen fumbles from both teams. We've seen interceptions thrown. The biggest thing that's made the difference has been when and where. Catoosa, they've fumbled the ball a few times, been able to fall on it, fortunately, and keep their drive alive. The Zebras, at very inopportune times, the first drive they got of the game after the big fumble, threw an interception down here on the 3.
Yeah.
Which, was deflating. They're thinking they're probably going to go out and score this rivalry game, get up, and early. Then at the end of the second half, they found some rhythm on offense. They're getting downfield. They found a little quick dump play from the quarterback rolling out to his right that was working really well for them. And they fumbled the ball, and it's recovered on the 2. So I think that's really the difference in this ball game right now is those 2 fumbles.
Now, if you're Catoosa, the biggest storyline, we don't know what's going to happen in the second half with their quarterback situation, but we saw Russell Duggar on the sideline getting some ice, talking to the trainer. let's say, for the sake of argument, he doesn't start the second half. What are you looking at? Does Catoosa get away from their game and just run the ball, or do you think Case and Titch is a capable backup?
I think Case and Titch is capable. I do think that they might lean more towards the option. Giving him the opportunity to keep it for himself, because he did show some great quickness straight up the middle of the field. So the biggest thing that they're going to have for them now is they were in that moment where it's like, okay, he's the guy now. So we don't have a plan for this. Right. Now they've had time for all the coaches. Fortunately, this happened in the first half. Now all the coaches are going to be able to come together, make adjustments. Hey, what do we think the winning formula is for this team, and what's this team's identity with Titch at the quarterback position while Duggar's sidelined?
And you have to feel like Titch has gotten enough reps probably in practice to know how to run this offense. And from what we saw, he's a very capable backup. Now switching the story from a team that likes to run it or to pass it that's going to run it, you have to look at Claremore and say that they might have to open up the playbook and start passing in the second half if this deficit stays the same or gets bigger.
Absolutely. And like we saw, that specific pass play was 2 huge gains for them, but it ended in the fumble down here. So I expect to see him rolling out of the pocket a little more, throwing on the run. I don't think with the looks they're getting from the Indians on defense that standing in the pocket is going to bode very well for anybody. So I do believe that they're going to throw the ball more, try to get the ball to the outside, but I don't know that any of the passes are going to be more than like 5 to 10 yards downfield.
And that's the problem with the offense that Claremore runs. It's so effective when they can establish that line of scrimmage game, but when you're down 11-0, or I think Catoosa gets the ball to start the second half, if they go down and score a touchdown, you're looking at a 3-possession game here, and you have to start throwing the ball. And from what we saw from Cutzinger, the quarterback for them in the first half, Claremore's got a capable passing game. They just don't like to go to it. But I think that's got to be the key, right? Is the passing game for Claremore. If they can get it going, we have a very exciting ball game here to start the second.
Well, so if they get the pass game going, it's going to open up their run, which is backwards from how they would normally prefer to do things. But like we said, we've got 10 men in the box against them on defense. Finding a way to give your playmakers the ball in space has to be one of the big parts of the conversations going on between the coaches at halftime.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure what halftime adjustments we're going to see, but I think we know what they need to do. It's how effectively they can transition here. But we're at halftime in a shutout currently. I don't think it'll stay that way, but Catoosa up 11-0 on Claremore, and we're going to take a break here and come back with more first half analysis.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University.
Having a body is tough. Exercising, sports, work, and life itself can leave you feeling tense at any age. The Trainer's Table is here for you. No appointments or memberships needed, because you can't always plan ahead for when you're physically sore. The Trainer's Table. Let us stretch you.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired, at Northeastern State University.
Hi, Peyton Hillis here for Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing. I've scored for the Hogs and for the NFL, but now my whole family has scored big finding this amazing store. Ozark Sportsman has everything a sportsman wants. The best firearm selection and gun safe choices anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. And a 15-lane indoor range and so much more. Ozark Outpost Clothing has all the hot boutique brands for women. And hey guys, our favorite brands also. Score big savings on top brands and follow me to Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me, from starting my moving businesses to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Hello everyone, I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech language.
Begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place, where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University.
Having a body is tough. Exercising, sports, work, and life itself can leave you feeling tense at any age. The Trainer's Table is here for you. No appointments or memberships needed, because you can't always plan ahead for when you're physically sore. The Trainer's Table. Let us stretch you.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired at Northeastern State University.
Hi, Peyton Hillis here for Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing. I've scored for the Hogs and for the NFL, but now my whole family has scored big finding this amazing store. Ozark Sportsman has everything a sportsman wants, the best firearm selection and gun safe choices anywhere in Northwest Arkansas, and a 15-lane indoor range and so much more. Ozark Outpost Clothing has all the hot boutique brands for women, and hey guys, our favorite brands also. Score big savings on top brands and follow me to Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me, from starting my moving businesses to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Hello everyone, I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech-language pathology, and
Welcome back to Catoosa, Oklahoma. We are just about ready for the second half. Both teams back out and warming up, and recognition going on at midfield. Brady, let's talk about halftime adjustments here because both teams had to make them. I think we talked about it pretty much in the halftime report. But if you're Claremore, you're down 11-0 coming out of this locker room. What adjustments do you make to get off on the right foot?
I don't think there's a lot of adjustment needed on the offensive side. I think they have found some identity, and they have moved the ball well, especially late there in the first half. The biggest issue for Claremore has been ball security. Those both turnovers coming at very inopportune times for the Zebras. So I think they got to take better care of the football, and right now they can afford to be who they are.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And if you're Catoosa on the other side, you've shut out Claremore in the first half. You're playing well. Question mark at quarterback. We're not sure what's going to happen in the second half. But if you're Catoosa, what are you doing in the second half to make sure you hold on to this lead and win your first game of the season?
At halftime, first thing I'm doing is I'm challenging that defense to keep playing at the level they have played at in the first half. They gave up some yards, got some very opportune turnovers that made this game look like it's not quite as close as it really has been, but they have played very well as a unit, flying to the football, making some key tackles at the right times, and forcing the turnovers. The bigger question for them, like you talked about, is the quarterback position. I feel like the adjustments they're going to be able to make at half is going to be able to tailor the offense more towards Titch.
I agree with you, and I think now we can say for sure Looks like Russell Duggar is just in his jersey and shorts. It does not appear he'll be playing the second half. We hope that injury, obviously, whatever it is not serious and doesn't keep him out for a long period of time. But it looks like tonight this offense for Catoosa is going to be manned by the wide receiver, Kason Titch, and the backup quarterback. And we saw some good throws from him in the first half. We saw that he's a very mobile guy. Obviously, he's a receiver. Can he do enough to command that offense in the backfield, and can he keep Catoosa rolling like they have been in the first half?
I think the answer to to both those questions is yes. He's moved the ball well. The biggest thing that I think he needs to work on is they have had those fumbles at the exchange, and that's just something that, hey, you get that cleared up at halftime. Talk about it. Calm him down. I don't know what is he a senior? Is he a junior? Do we have that information on Titch?
I believe we do.
He's a senior, so he's been here before. He's been on the field. He's been in this rivalry game. But change of position is something that's maybe going to get you in your nerves a little bit. So maybe you get him in there, settle him down, let him know what he did well, the couple things that he can work on, and just give him the full faith that you've got his back, that you believe in his ability to go out there and lead this team to victory tonight.
And we have it's a very exciting game. I mean, the scoreboard doesn't necessarily show it, but we've got a two-score game going in the second half. We've got all kinds of storylines. We had so many turnovers in the first half. If that can be cleaned up, if Claremore can get their pass game effectively started, we could have a very fun finish to this game. Both teams obviously looking for their first win. Just going to be a question of who made the halftime adjustments and who really wants it more here in the second half.
Absolutely. I am completely surprised that we're not coming out here to start the second half 11-7. That fumble on the 2-yard line took a lot of wind out of the Zebras' sails and took some of that momentum they had built on that drive away, and really, really probably affected the way that Catoosa is going to game plan here in the second half, because they still have that advantage.
It's going to be a question for that Zebra offense and just the Zebra team as a whole. If your coach Hurt and his coaching staff, how quickly can you get your players to forget the short term, and can you just go ahead and hit a hard reset and say, okay, first half happened, nothing we can do about it. Let's come out for the second half and let's win the second half.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're going to see, like I said, more of those rollout passes from Claremore. Going to spread the field. And I don't know if that I'm going to say using the pass to open up the run, but you're going to have to make Catoosa honor your ability to throw the football. If they can keep 9 and 10 guys in the box, it's not going to bode well here tonight, especially if the Indians put more points on the board.
Well, we've got the ball teed up for the second half kickoff. Footy Yang is back and ready to kick it off, and looks like the Zebra offense, or the Zebra sideline, is very hyped for the second half. So are we here on the Southern Sports Network. Going to be a quick return and not much doing. Good coverage by Catoosa to make sure that there was no return. Looks like that one was number 27, Eli Pezzo, on the return, and we'll see how this offense comes out early.
Yeah, the kickoff team there for the Indians did a very good job. They stayed in their lanes, played their priority, brought him down pretty quickly at the 22. Not horrible field position for the Zebras as they set up their first drive of the half. But we know they're going to lean on that run a little bit, but they may surprise us here in the second half. I'm really kind of curious to see how this first drive goes.
I think that should be their idea. Can they shock us up here in the booth, and more importantly, the team on the opposite sideline from them? Going to have 2 wide receivers on the far side here to start, which is an improvement from the one they had early. And looks like it's going to be a quarterback run here. Number 5, Scout Cutzinger. Good start to the second half here, and if the ground game can stay like that, they're going to have a fairly solid second half here, Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned it, you caught it right off the bat. We saw a lot of offensive possessions where we only had a one wide receiver in the set. They come right back out. They have 2 guys over on the far side of the field, spread the defense out a little bit, bootleg out, pick up an easy first down, and get some momentum going in their favor here in the second half.
An early adjustment. We've seen 2 wide receivers in the set, and they're just going to run it again. And another solid run there. Going to be number 17, David Lozoya. And 2 runs, 2 first downs, not much more you can ask for if you're the Zebras.
Absolutely not. That line, maybe nerves, big rivalry game. You're nervous. You want to get that first W of the season. Maybe coach pulled them in there. I'm sure there were some harsh words discussed at halftime, like there usually is in these games where you're behind. But I bet he really stepped up and challenged that line and asked them to show up in the second half and establish their dominance on the run side of the game.
And looks like going to be another keeper for the quarterback, Kutzinger, excuse me, and another short gain. But so far, 3 runs and 3 positive plays. That's exactly what you want if you're the Zebra offense.
The Zebras are doing exactly what we expected. We expected them to spread the field a little bit more, using multiple wide receivers in the set, and we expected to see more of that misdirection that was really helping them get the ball moving late in the first half, and they have come out as expected and are moving this ball on the first drive.
Snap to Kutzinger, and they're going to hand it off again. Another just lane to run there for Lozoya. And he's going to be close to the first down. Looks like he's going to be about a yard short, so to bring up a third, and we'll call it a short 1.
Yeah, Lozoya looked like he had the line to gain, but he tried to jump back and make a move, so the forward progress got moved back just a little bit, but still third and manageable. Right now, that run, that offensive line's imposing their will on that defensive line. But I think we're going to see the quarterback, Kutzinger, call his own number again on this play.
I like that call out of you because he's been running very effectively this game.
Absolutely.
You got to keep this drive going at any means. Kutzinger in the backfield here. He's going to give the handoff, and looks like Lozoya going to do more than enough to get that first down, keep the chains moving, and you got to be happy with that if you're Coach Hurt and the Zebras, because you got to keep this first drive moving, and you got to get points ultimately here.
Absolutely, and what we're seeing from the Zebras right now too is we're not seeing a whole. We saw the quarterback running on that side, but these running backs are running up the middle. They are running between the tackles. They are running downhill, and I think that's going to be very, very beneficial for this offense. As you can see, the defensive line there getting a little excited, thinking that run's coming right back at them. Jumped, gave him the free 5 yards, and now you're sitting at 1st and 5. This drive could not have started better for the Zebras.
They've come out of the locker room, it looks like excited and ready and refreshed. And now with a 1st and 5, I mean, they don't have to throw it. They're not, Catoosa's not doing anything to make them throw it right now. And as I say that, they throw it right now.
Again, we discussed Claremore, what we thought was going on at halftime and what the adjustments they can make. One of them was, if you can establish that run, great, but maybe throwing the ball some to open up the run. We talked about short passes not beyond 10 yards deep to give your playmakers the ball in space, which is what we saw there. He got to the sideline and got another easy first down.
And these different looks from Claremore really keeping Catoosa's defense on its toes. Another solid run here, just trying to get the edge. Going to be brought down, but it's going to pick up 5. Lozoya really the workhorse here early in the first half, in the second half, for the Zebras.
Yeah, he broke a couple of tackles there that just got met head on there by the guys in the secondary coming up to make the play. He was well on his way to the sideline. Good pickup on the play. We're here at 2nd down and 4. Maybe we can see the Zebras punching in on the opening drive of the first half.
That would be something to keep this game very close. As Kutzinger going to look to the sideline, maybe get a different look on the play. The staff over there signaling to him. Going to motion the running back, Lozoya. And it'll be a quarterback keeper. And looked like he got him on the back of the jersey. Doesn't look like a horse collar, though.
Looked like he made it. Like you said, I was looking for the horse collar flag there. I was told, I don't know that it's 100% true in Oklahoma football, that they did make the nameplate part of the horse collar.
Oh, okay.
This year, but that may be different leagues and somewhere else. But it did look like he was brought down by it. But they are seeing that they have that linebacker shifted to our side of the field and using that quarterback run game off the edge with just 2 guys to beat with 2 receivers out there to make the block.
Hand it off to Lozoya, and he's going to be met essentially at the line. A short gain maybe there, but now you bring up 4th down in this impressive drive for the Zebras. What do you do with it now? Because we don't know about their kicker. You're kind of in field goal range, or do you go for it on the short 4th down?
I'm running that same rollout pass play that we ran at the end of the half. Rollout, if it's there take the pass play, get the first down, get out of bounds, or get in the end zone. Just protect the football at all costs. If it's not there, trust Cutsinger's legs to pick up those 4 yards. I think the rollout pass play is definitely a good option here.
And Cutzinger going to keep it, toss it, and going to have, looks like enough yardage for, yes, they're going to have plenty of yardage for the first down. Keogh Penn, the running back, number 41, going to stay down. Looked like kind of a low hit there, but they did get the yardage to gain. And he's slow to get up, but he is getting up.
Yeah, up under his own power. Definitely something that we always like to see. But I do believe they called that official timeout, so he will have to exit the game for at least one play, which may not be a bad idea to go ahead and get looked at, get checked out. You know, maybe he just got the wind knocked out of him. We don't really know from up here. But, again, we just mentioned that rollout short pass. Take it if it's there. If it's not, use your legs. And here we are, first down and 10 is at the 16?
About the 16-yard line, yes.
16-yard line. So Zebras moving the ball well, started down around their own 20, 80-yard drive to punch it into the end zone to start the second half. They would be right back in this game, and I believe we are in for a very exciting half of football.
And we have a very good vantage point from it right here in midfield up in the press box.
And air conditioning.
And air conditioning, which is a very notable thing as the last few weeks we have not been. But beautiful Catoosa, Oklahoma here just outside of Tulsa as we're ready to get underway. Once again, Cutzinger going to look to the sideline, change the play up here, and bring Lazoya up near him. Fake the handoff, going to take it himself, and it looked like Catoosa sniffed it out, and he made a cut and got a few yards out of that.
Yeah, they're watching that. They've been given that linebacker shift towards the near side, and when they've done that 2 times in a row now, Claremore has audible to that quarterback run. I think they were ready for it. They told them to watch out for it. They closed the gap. They got a short gain on the play, but I believe that defense is catching on to what they have going on. I'm excited to see how this drive ends. I want this one to end in the end zone. I don't want another inopportune fumble. I want to see this game turn into a battle.
Really going to see what Claremore's halftime adjustments, how they landed with the team, as Lazoya going to be met in the backfield there. Looks like Catoosa had that one sniffed out from the get-go.
He came off the edge, and he came fast. He was closing right down the line of scrimmage, right behind the offensive lineman. As you can see on your screen, you can see him right here on the right-hand side. He just closed right up there and just made a play. It's 3rd down and 8-ish. So, again, not a big deal for Claremore. I believe they're in 4-down territory. We don't know about their kicker. Exactly. If they have a kicker, they might settle for 3. But I feel like the Zebras want to find pay dirt.
And we'll see if they can do that right here. Maybe we see another Cutzinger rollout. Going to be a play action. He's going to roll out to his right. Has receivers in the end zone. Wide open touchdown. And the Zebras are on the board. It's going to be number 30 on the catch. That is Gage Deckard. And the Zebras have life here in the second half.
That's the same look we've seen multiple times on the pass play. Quarterback rolling out to his right. Guy right here on the replay in the flats. You can see him near the 10. But you had a guy over the top that found a soft spot in that zone and just sat down in it, and Cutzinger delivered a strike. We have a ball game in Catoosa, Oklahoma.
And I think Claremore is going to go for 2 to just stay on pace with Catoosa here, it appears. They will. They're going to keep the offense on the field, which is smart. You almost have to do that.
Great move here. I can't question this decision at all. I think it's a very, very good decision.
Cutzinger throwing again, going to have his man, and that'll be a touchdown.
Imagine that. Claremore in the end zone twice here, once on the touchdown, once on the 2-point conversion, both through the air.
And more importantly, that is 88 Micah Teal, who had the fumble at the 2-yard line on the other side before halftime. Maybe gets that mojo out of him, and Claremore has life here on the offensive side of the ball, specifically through the air, like you just said.
Right, yeah. I mean, like I said, Claremore, we had the numbers here in pregame. Claremore has been averaging 64.5 passing yards per game. They are beyond that tonight. I mean, I think they're easily beyond that tonight. I don't know. Do you think they've thrown? I know they've thrown for over 100 yards with those 2 big pass plays and getting down here.
They've thrown more than their average, I believe.
Absolutely. So I'm just happy we see some life out of the Zebras coming out to make this a ball game. It is going to be a battle for the Blue Whale.
The battle for the Blue Whale is, it is alive and well right now in Catoosa. And now we get to see how this Catoosa offense responded. There was not much you could dock them on in the first half. They looked great, minus a few turnovers. Obviously, both teams had issues with that. But going to see, now that they've had a half to prepare, this is Case and Titch's team for the second half. We'll see how that reaction plays out here.
Absolutely. Case and Titch, again, he's a senior. He's a leader on this team, normally at the wide receiver spot. We'll see what kind of game plan they come up with, how they rally around him, and see what this offense can do here in the second half.
Kickoff goes out of the end zone for a touchback. And we will watch this offense trot on the field, see what halftime adjustments Coach Hood made with his new quarterback, and ultimately see what this first drive looks like. And on the opposite side, you've got to look at this Claremore defense. I mean, do you change your philosophy on defense with the second string quarterback in there?
I do. They have leaned a little more towards the run. We did see Claremore early on in the game when Duggar was still in, that they were respecting his ability to throw the ball. They were not mixing up very many aggressive looks. They were just trying to play their responsibility and play fundamental football. I do think they'll try to come after the backup. I do think Titch is going to get put under some pressure, and that we're going to see some different looks from this defense in the second half.
Well, the first string, Duggar, watching on from the sideline as Titch gets the first snap, and that first snap is going to result in negative yards for this Indians offense with a false start.
Definitely not what you want after you've made those adjustments. You've talked about it and established a second-half game plan around a completely new quarterback, is to come out and put him in this situation. You do not want to see 1st and 15, 2nd and long. You want to put him in an easy-to-manage situation with a full playbook where the game is not 100% on his shoulders and he can lean on his teammates around him and not have to rely on throwing the football.
This is where you can feel the momentum maybe shift if this is a quick out for the Catoosa offense. Titch going to fake the handoff and keep it himself, going to get a few more yards and get close to that original line of scrimmage. It'll be about 2nd down and 11. But you can maybe feel in the stadium the momentum shifting slightly. I wouldn't say it's a full momentum shift yet, but that drive from Claremore early really has them hyped up on that opposite
Absolutely.
side.
They control the clock a lot already in the third quarter. But I do think we're going to see a lot more of Titch carrying the rock here in the second half by design. I think that's going to happen. But how they answer here is going to determine where that momentum heads.
Well, a big answer on that Catoosa offense is going to be through number 4, Mike Barnett, who just had that carry. He was a great workhorse in the first half for them in the backfield. Got some speed and looks like he's picking up right where he left off. Going to be 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, Barnett's been great this entire game. We have a player down out there on the field again. That looks like that's number 41 again.
It does look like it will be Keo Penn, the dual threat and the punter for Claremore. And while they check on him, we're going to step aside for a quick break. We'll be right back here on Southern Sports Network.
Hi, Peyton Hillis here for Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing. I've scored for the Hogs and for the NFL, but now my whole family has scored big finding this amazing store. Ozark Sportsman has everything a sportsman wants. The best firearm selection and gun safe choices anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. And a 15-lane indoor range and so much more. Ozark Outpost Clothing has all the hot boutique brands for women. And hey guys, our favorite brands also. Score big savings on top brands and follow me to Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing.
Back here in Catoosa, Oklahoma, the down zebra is number 41, Keo Penn. He's plays both sides of the on offense and defense, and he's also their punter. He had a knock earlier, and looks like the training staff is helping him to his feet, and he'll walk off under his own power, which is always good to see. But now that you've had a second to talk about it in your huddle, I mean, what are you? There's no reason to change anything. Obviously, it's the first drive of the second half for Catoosa, but like you said, it looks like it's going to run through the hands of Case and Titch. It's going to be a lot of runs here for Catoosa.
Absolutely. I think this one, if Claremore's defense can force a stop here and get them to punt the football, momentum is going to make a tremendous shift in the favor of the Zebras to start the second half. So we're here. It's 3rd down and 6. Let's see what Titch and company can come up with. I'm going to turn it back to you for the play-by-play because it looks like they're getting ready to snap this football. But I'm really excited for the second half.
And 3rd down, looks like Titch going to roll out. Got pressure in his face. Can he get rid of it? Yes, he can, but to no receiver.
did look like he was outside the tackle box, and it looked like the ball did clearly cross the line of scrimmage. So I don't think we're going to see any kind of intentional grounding call, no matter how much the opposing sideline's trying to lobby for it, because there was nobody in the area outside of the tackle box. Clear throwaway, pass.
And there's the flag.
And they're going to throw it.
Looks like they'll get them 4 intentional down, which is spot foul and loss of down if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it'll be a loss of down penalty, and they'll be punting from a little deeper in their own territory.
What a start here for Claremore. Not only did they have a very effective offensive drive, but they got a quick out for this on this Catoosa offense. And now they're going to get the ball, you would have to think, in Catoosa territory here, barring a big punt here from the Indians.
Yeah, again, I'm going to even re-educate myself on that issue, because I did think he was clearly outside the tackle box, and that ball
I agree, yeah.
did clearly pass the down marker. So definitely find out some more for myself, because I did not feel like that was grounding, just based off those conditions.
And it was a long discussion by the refs, and they ended up throwing the flag here. But I agree with you. I didn't think that was grounding either. I thought he was well out, but Catoosa got a punt from their own end zone, and they didn't get it away. And that's a safety. That'll be a safety, and that's 2 points for Claremore.
Oh, and it's a ball game.
And
11-10. The Zebra's gonna get the ball back. You know
wow.
You know what this is?
What is this?
It's the Battle of the Blue Whale.
Put that on a T-shirt, get that trademarked, and we'll have
That's
merchandise
right.
for you next year.
Next year we will have a Blue Whale tailgate party.
Well, we talked off air. I thought special teams were going to come into play, but I thought in a positive way. We've seen the punting game for both teams has been shaky to be kind, and as you saw, the snap wasn't clean, and they just couldn't get out of their own way there. And so now, in fairness to Catoosa, jumping on that ball and it being a safety is a much better situation than Claremore getting an outright touchdown and taking the lead.
Oh, if I'm Catoosa, I'm very happy giving up 2 points there. Could have went one of 2 other ways. One, if the ball made it out of the end zone and they get the ball on the 1 yard line, with the way that run game's already been executing, they're going to punch it in.
Mm-hmm.
2, they recover it in the end zone for a touchdown. Those are the only other 2 outcomes.
And that's,
so giving them the two points and being able to punt the ball away and kick it away, and to give them a little bit longer field to work with, is a good thing right now, as this momentum is beginning to shift here in the third quarter.
Well, Footy Yang has the ball teed up for Catoosa, and they're going to kick it away. Not a great kick. And Claremore just going to run up the sideline there and have great field position. They're going to end up near midfield. Looks like that was number 27 for the Zebras. That'll be Eli Pezo.
Yeah, a great field position again here for the Zebras. Their first drive went great. Their second drive ended up with a safety in the end zone against the for the Indians. So offense is playing well, defense is playing well, special teams done well. Now you've got the ball back at midfield, great field position. It's time to go and take the lead and take control of this ball game if you're the Zebras.
Impressive first drive from the Zebras. We'll see if there was more of the same here. There's going to be a few cuts here, and it looks like they turned nothing into something there. That'll be number 37, Eli Rogers, on the carry. He just waited and found a hole.
Yeah, Rogers had one hole there to slip through, and then the rest he made miss. Like, I thought he might get a couple yards on that carry if he was lucky, and he was shifty enough to make a couple of guys miss and picked up a first down for the Zebras. The momentum is definitely swayed here in the second half. The Zebras have established their dominance on the line of scrimmage. They have got the Indians on their heels.
And you can feel it, that Claremore sideline is energetic. They're going to run the ball again. Why not? It's working so well. And another solid gain of about 5.
Yeah. Hey, 5 yards of play wins every ball game.
Absolutely. And it's been effective. That was number 17, Lozoya, on the carry. He's been the workhorse in the first and second half in that backfield, especially with one of their key running backs, Keo Penn, out with an apparent injury. But 2nd and 5 here, no reason to get away from the run, is there, Brady?
Absolutely not. I think you make them commit back to stopping it. I mean, he's called his own number again.
And
like
Cutzinger
we've seen,
going to get out there, going to try and find the edge. He's still up, and just death by 1,000 paper cuts right now, it appears, with this Claremore offense. They are really firing on what they like to do, their bread and butter, which is just running the ball in different ways.
We saw it again. The linebackers were shifted towards our sideline. 2 receivers out to his left. H-back there also took it right off the edge for himself for a huge gain. First down and 10 at the 16-yard line. We've seen this not too long ago.
And this is a type of offense where when it's firing, it's beautiful to watch because it's just ground and pound, and they're doing well with it. And just another big run. Looks like Lozoya going to be untouched, get the edge, touchdown Zebras. And they have flipped the game on its head.
So that's going to take us to 16-11. So listen, if you're the Zebras here, I'm going for 2.
Absolutely.
Make this a full 7-point ball game here, and try to build off that momentum.
I think you're spot on there. I think to start, the kicking game is shaky at best in the high school ranks, and then you've got this offense that's just firing on all cylinders. Why not just go for 2?
We saw the snap on the punt. We don't know if it's any better for the kicking team.
Okay.
So let's see if they can punch it in for 2 here and take a 7-point lead in the second half.
2 wide receivers out on the opposite side for Cutzinger. He's going to give the handoff. No, fake it. Got the tight end. Touchdown. Oh, did he get in? He got over.
Yeah, he had clear possession, had 2 or 3 steps already in the end zone. No questions there. Again, after that fumble at the end of the first half, he's having himself a good third quarter. He's making the plays he needs to make to put his team in a position to win the ball game. And good job to the coaching staff and to his quarterback for saying, hey, look, we saw what happened. You're our guy. We don't care. Show up.
Well, Mike Atteel, like you said, after that fumble, has had 2 2-point conversions in the second half thus far, and looks like he has exercised his demons. What a heck of a halftime speech I guess Coach Hurt gave, because Claremore has come out here and been very impressive on offense.
And again, I would like to think that there'd be some discussion on this Indian sideline about that rollout pass. That rollout pass has been a thorn in the heel for this Indians defense. I mean, it started working in the second quarter, and it has continued to work for the Zebras. Again, way more through the air than we've expected from them today.
Well, we'll see if they elect to kick it. They've got 2 very dangerous returnmen back to. So they've got number 7, their star receiver, Colin Treat, and they've got number 4, the running back, Mike Barnett. Whichever way you slice it, you don't want to give it to either of them in open field, so we'll see how they treat this.
Both very dangerous with the football in their hands.
Going to kick it, really kind of split it, and wow, what a kick. Goes over both of their heads into the end zone.
He booted it. We said we had not really seen the kicker as far as talking about field goals. Well, if he's got that kind of leg, I do think we could see the Zebras try some field goals here later. But the biggest question for me in that special teams unit is that snap.
Absolutely, 100%. You've seen it on both sides, really. You've seen the snap on the long snapper be shaky at every turn for Catoosa and for Claremore.
Now we're going to find out what the Indians are made of coming out. They've lost momentum. They're down in this contest. Let's see what they can dial up and try to put some more points on the board.
Going to bring a man in motion. That is number 7, the wide receiver, Colin Treat. And he's going to push the pile to about, looks like just about a 5 or 6 yard gain there. But just about 5 or 6 is good enough for them. And it looks like we have a Zebra who's slow to get up.
Again, we're hoping it's just cramps here because we did have some warmer than normal playing conditions here tonight. And like you said on the turf, it's always in the pregame. It's always hotter down there.
Absolutely, and we talked about a bunch of 2-way players. Maybe that's taking its toll, but thankfully he got up pretty quick. So,
and as you mentioned in the pregame, depth. Like players are getting tired, players are getting fatigued. They're starting to cramp. You have to play with that next man up mentality, and how prepared that next man is could really control the pace of this ball game for either side.
Titch will have a couple wide receivers on the near side and then one out up top. Just going to hand it off, though, and what a cut there that was. Can he get back to – he's going to get back to the line and more, and took a hard hit there, Mike Barnett.
What a cut by Barnett. We really hate to see this right now.
And he's down and looks like in some discomfort, but as you see on the screen, what a cut, and he just gets out there and looks like might have gotten caught a little hard there. So we'll step aside for a second and let the medical staff attend to Barnett, and be back with you in a moment on Southern Sports Network.
We are computer science pros, chemists and lab technicians, health professionals, mathematicians, and science educators. We are the Greg Wadley College of Science and Health Professions at Northeastern State University. Choose from degrees in natural sciences, health and pre-health professions, mathematics and computer science, and more. Discover the possibilities at Northeastern State University.
And as we welcome you back here to Catoosa, Barnett off on his own power, but limping a little bit. So you like to see that he's off on his own power, but we'll see if he's able to get back in there. The trainer's bringing him over to the table, going to work on him. But, well, now if you're Catoosa, Brady, you've got your first-string quarterback and your first-string running back both down right now. Now, it remains to be seen how long Barnett's going to be out, but now what do you do?
I think this is where you have to lean on that impact player of the game. You know, they told us he's a great leader. He's a speedster, and they just handed the ball to him right off the edge. You know, I think he's going to become a bigger factor as the game goes along. We did see Barnett on his way to the bench, though. He did look this way. He was smiling, so maybe just a simple got the wind knocked out of you moment is what we're kind of hoping for the Indians, because he has been a force to be reckoned with all night for the Zebra defense.
Now it looks like Colin Treat coming off a little gingerly there, their star player. Nothing too serious, but he looks to be limping a little bit. So you just hope the injury bug stays away from him. But right now you're down your star wide receiver, or your starting quarterback and your starting running back. So we'll see where this offense goes. As Titch going to hand it off in the backfield, that'll be number 6 for the Indians. That is legend lore. And he's got enough for the first down, it appears.
Hey, it looked like Lord
sorry, go ahead.
Did a very good job there. Seeing the hole, taking a big sidestep. I mean, his vision looked like it was on point. He picked up almost enough for that first down. So hopefully that next man up mentality is just going to carry on to that running back, and we see Lore have a big end of the ball game here.
Now, empty backfield here. Going to take the snap and just take it himself. Titch going to get that first down, and that's a case of just call my own number and run the ball behind my big offensive line.
Yeah, just spread the field, get all the secondary on somebody to spread it out and pick a gap. You know, that's literally what they did. They just picked a gap. He hit it as hard as he could, and when he hit it, you saw it. I mean, it stopped instantly, but he only needed half a yard. He got it. It's 1st and 10. I'm really curious to see what this offensive coordinator dials up here with the injuries and everything kind of adding up here in the second half.
Yeah, if you're Coach Guerrero, the offensive coordinator for the Indians, I think you've got to just keep it short and sweet, as we're going to flip sides in the third quarter, and we'll go ahead and take a break here real quick and come back with the start of the fourth quarter here on the Southern Sports Network.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is, there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
And welcome back to Catoosa, Oklahoma. The sun has gone down. It's a nice, cool evening now. And 2 teams that are really going at it here. Great first half from Catoosa. Claremore with some great offensive adjustments at halftime. And now we get to see what both offenses are made of, as we have a 1st and 10 here Titch just going to throw it, going to find his man complete. That'll be number 11, Aiden Taft. And the offensive passing game for Catoosa looks like it might incorporate itself here.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, try something different. Since Titch came into the game, they really started to lean heavy on that run game, and it did work for them in spurts. But at this point, it's fourth quarter. You have to take all the safeties and precautions you've been playing with the whole second half of the game off and just untie him and open up that playbook and let him try to make a play for you.
Second down, we'll call it 5. And Titch going to hand it off. Nope, he's going to fake it, run it himself, and he's going to get more than enough for that first down. And you know what? He's making up what he can't do in the air with his legs, and that was a great run by Case and Titch.
He showed an amazing burst of speed there. Once he pulled that back and he took off, he shot out of there like a rocket. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Kaysen Titch is a winner. He looks like the kind of kid that was willing to put his team on his shoulders and try to carry them to that end zone to tie this game up here in the Battle of the Blue Whale.
As Brady tries to make the new rivalry name stick, we'll have a 1st and 10 here. And as you can see, number 4, Mike Barnett, is jogging on the sideline, putting his helmet back on. As on the field, Aiden Taft going to go ahead and get a few yards on the run. And Barnett's put his helmet back on. So it looks like he's ready to go back in whenever Coach calls his number. So that's a very good sign if you're the Indians.
Absolutely. He's made so many big plays. That cut on the play that he went down on was absolutely amazing. He came to a full stop. It looked like he jumped back a couple of yards and kicked it outside and picked up a very good big first down for the Indians. So having him back out there and in the lineup is definitely a good thing.
I'll tell you this right now. In the 3 weeks I've been here in Oklahoma, I've been very impressed with Mike Barnett and all the other running backs. We're going to get a timeout here. But the state of Oklahoma appears to have some really good running backs, and maybe that's just the ground and pound way they like to play football, but I've been very impressed in the 3 weeks, whether it was week 0 at Vian a couple weeks ago when we were in Chakota or right here. It's been a very fun running game to watch.
Absolutely. We'll be in Inola as well this year. I actually went to Inola's game against Salina a couple of weeks ago. They played both teams. It was a very physical battle, very much ground and pound, just literally just trying to hit each other right in the mouth, and great play by the running backs.
And now, we're going to presume your starting running back Mike Barnett back. Does that open your playbook back up if you're Catoosa here?
I believe so. I believe you have more confidence in Barnett than you do in the backup. And so you're going to try to lean on that a little more and take a little of that pressure off of Titch while you can. But I do not think Catoosa can afford to not punch it in here. I think they have to get points, or this game is going to head right off to the Zebras.
Well, knowing that the Zebras are going to hold the ball for as long as they physically can, points are at a premium and at a must at this point. Titch going to hand the ball off bring the wide receiver number 7, Colin Treat, around, and he's going to get nothing, but we're going to get a flag here, looks like, for some late activity.
Yeah, they called him down for progress a good couple seconds before somebody came in from the defense and gave him a little bit extra. Mental breakdown and mistake there by the Zebras. They had them where they wanted them. They were going to go on. They got nowhere. Now they've got a first down and 15 yards with it. So they're up there now inside of your 30 when you had them pinned down here by the 42.
It is going to be very interesting to see, regardless of if Catoosa scores here or not, how much time Claremore is going to be able to bleed off that clock. Because Catoosa has to score and get the 2-point conversion here. Or excuse me, no, they can kick the PAT if they choose to. But Titch going to hand the ball off. Nope, he's going to fake it. He's faked me out more than once tonight, and he's faked this defense out for Claremore several times as well.
Again, he has such explosiveness in that burst. Like I said, the pre-game report, we talked about those receivers and how fast they were and how much speed they were, and he's just shown that speed. Again, I like to see number 7 or impact player, Colin Treat, maybe get involved as we get down here closer to the end zone. We've seen a couple of nice throws from Titch. So I believe you just pick your best play here and maybe take a shot on 2nd and 2. Try to catch the defense sleeping, knowing you still have another down to get that first, maybe 2.
One-on-one coverage on the far side here, but they're going to keep it on the ground. Titch going to try and keep it himself again to no success. They're going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage and bring up a 3rd down and 2 here. And are you in a situation here where you have to have a touchdown, or can you settle for a field goal and trust your defense gets a stop?
Right now, all the momentum's in the favor of Claremore's offense. So if they can't get the stop, it's going to change the game. So I would personally like to see pay dirt here if I'm with the Indians. I think that's the only thing that they're going to be happy with. And they've got 2 downs to get the first. I think we're at that point in the game. We're in the 4th quarter. We're down by 7 to our rival. We're going for the end zone.
I would agree with you as they help off the injured Zebra there. That looks to be number 2, Aiden Stimson, excuse me. And this gives the Catoosa offense a chance to, huddle up and decide what they're doing. Do you stick it in the hands of your quarterback, Case and Titch? Do you go ahead and try and get Barnett involved again? There are plenty of options here if you're the Indians.
Man, I do think that the quarterback run's working great. I don't know that I wouldn't put it in with some kind of pass option, though, where you could get him rolling out to the side. And if the option's not there, hit the gas and pick up the few yards you need for a first down.
It's short enough to where he could make a run or a play with his legs if he needs to. Titch going to see if he can draw the defense off sides and go ahead and look back at the sideline, maybe change the play up here real quick. Titch gets the snap. Going to throw it, and going to be nowhere near his intended receiver, number 7, Colin Treat, excuse me.
I'm going to tell you, I was looking at that defensive setup, and I really thought the call was going to be for him to tuck it and run it off the far side. They had 2 receivers out there. Linebackers shifted this way. With his speed, I felt like he could have had an easy first down there, but we're setting up for a kick.
That's what I'm seeing. And
Foodie.
Going to be Foodie Yang. He's been successful on a field goal attempt tonight. Got another kick. It is up. Got the distance, and it is down Main Street. Man, in high school, having a reliable kicker is important, and Foodie Yang has been great tonight.
Great kick, like you said there by Foodie. Foodie really wants that blue well.
And now the question is can this Catoosa defense go ahead and stop this offense of Claremore? It's going to be a hard task to do, especially with how well they've run the ball in the second half. But what are you going to have to do if you're the Indians to get the ball back?
You got to get a big stop. You got to. Coach needs to be getting in that defense's ear, challenging them. Like, look, if there's any time, it is now. I mean, you're trailing by 4 in this ball game. There's still plenty of time left. But they can't afford to let the Zebras milk 5 minutes off the clock here.
And they very well could.
So we did see some problematic turnovers for the Zebras in the first half. They seem to have corrected it at the halftime and have done a little better securing the ball. So let's see if the Indians can get a stop or if the momentum's going to stay with that Zebra offense.
Well, Foodie Yang gonna tee the ball up here, and it looks to me like Claremore, I was thinking in my head, maybe you try and go for an onside kick if you're Catoosa. Claremore's got that sniffed out, it appears. But we'll see. They've lined up. Looks like they're going to just go ahead and kick it deep, though. And that is going to be out of bounds. Oh, nope, it's stuck. It stayed in. Had a great bounce for the Indians. And
what a bounce.
And what a kick from Foodie Yang. And that's going to be trouble for the Zebras as they're down at the 7-yard line. My goodness. And there's a flag on the play, it appears, on the far side.
It looked like that kick was clearly going to bounce out of bounds over around the 10 to 5-yard line. And it came back in, which good job there by the kick receiving team. but the receiving team picking that ball up and trying to make something happen. But if you are the Indians, it does not get any better than that. You've got them pinned inside the 10. You know, I mean, that's a good momentum booster for your defense that you just went out there and that happened. They lined up for the onside kick. Now here you are. It's 1st and 10. Looks like maybe at the 4-yard line now.
Yeah, it looks
3-yard line.
Looks like there might have been there was a flag on the far side at about the 35. So you wonder if that was on Claremore.
Yep, enforced half the distance to the goal. 1st and 10 inside the 5. This is going to get exciting.
And this is where, if you're Catoosa and the defensive coordinator, you make your money as a good stop here on 1st down. Looks like that was Lozoya on the carry for the first run of this drive. And now the question is, you know, if you can get the ball back, you're going to get it at midfield.
So we've seen the special teams unit for Claremore struggle with the punt. If you have them punting in the end zone, this could be a big moment for the Indians if they can hold them here.
2nd down, going to do nothing but hand it to Lozoya, and he's stopped in the end zone. And that, I believe, is going to be a safety, and it will be. Wow.
2 points for the home team. It is going to be 16-18. They get the ball back, 7 minutes remaining. We are in for an exciting finish in Catoosa, Oklahoma, here tonight.
My goodness, we've had everything tonight. We've had several turnovers. That's our 2nd safety on the night. It's been a fun night here.
I'm giving a lot of credit to this being the Battle of the Blue Whale.
You called it from the get-go. Our producer, Chris, through the window is pumping his fist. It's been a fun night here.
I'm just thinking next year we have a Southern Sports Network tailgate party pregame at the Blue Whale.
I love it. I love the idea. I love the branding. We get T-shirts, maybe some hats. Great idea. But while you're
we need to take you to see the Blue Whale.
I've never seen the Blue Whale. I
definitely need to see the Blue Whale.
I would love to see the Blue Whale,
so you can appreciate this newfound rivalry that we have coined, the Battle of the Blue Whale.
There's no way that doesn't stick, I believe.
I don't think so, because I saw it referenced to, because Claremore played Uligal last week, and I saw it referenced in an article. It said Battle of Rogers County Part 1, and this one was Battle of Rogers County Part 2. I'm like, no, it's the Battle of the Blue Whale.
Well, it doesn't get much more exciting here in Catoosa unless you're across the street at the Hard Rock Casino, but this has been everything you could have wanted and more in a football game. And now that you're in a 2-point game, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. Catoosa has a very good kicker in Footy Yang, and so if it comes down to a kick,
Footy with the booty.
Exactly. Catoosa obviously hoping it doesn't come down to a field goal and they can just punch it in, but they have a reliable kicker. As that kick is going to go a little deep. Fielded by Colin Treat, and he's got a lane and some room, and he's going to get almost, it looks like right at midfield. And when you can cut the starting field in half, that is why he's the star player we've talked about in the pregame.
Well, that was a great kick following how deep they have to kick off from the safety there, all the way down to the 30-yard line. He hit the Jets. He brought it up. He put them at exactly midfield. The momentum in this game seems to be making another shift here late. We've got 7 minutes to go here in Catoosa. I am excited, Cannon.
I am pumped up, Brady. It has been a fun night here just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Catoosa. It's cooled off to be a very nice night. And we're going to see what Titch and the Catoosa offense can do. He's going to, first off, fake the handoff and keep it himself for a short gain. And this is where, if you're Catoosa, maybe you want to burn some clock before you give it back to the other team.
I'm trying to remember where we were at when Footy booted that last field goal. I think if the ball's on the 25-yard end, he's money.
I would agree.
And I think he had a little more leg to give if he punched it flatter, because he seems to be getting the ball with pretty decent elevation. So this could come down to Footy in the end, giving a 1-point lead if another field goal happens to fall on the board here following that safety.
On top of his 2 field goals, he had that great kickoff that started the Catoosa defensive resurgence, and we're going to get a handoff here. Number 4, Mike Barnett. He's back in the game. He's feeling well, and he's got a big gain here on second down.
We asked what kind of difference we thought Barnett coming back in was going to make, and we both thought that it was going to be significant. You see here on the replay, he gets the ball, he finds a hole, and he just elevates and takes off. He didn't try to do anything fancy, make anybody miss. He just turned on the jets, and we're almost in field goal range for Foodie.
Barnett's such a disciplined running back, as you can see on the replay, and we're in footy territory. The question is does Catoosa, if they have a choice, do they want to leave that up to him? And they've obviously still got a lot of time on the clock here. Let's see what this offense go ahead and dials up, and they're not going to dial up much here because I think it's a delay of game.
I'm sitting here with you. You just mentioned the time on the clock. I almost don't know with the Zebras, the way they've been executing on offense, if you have to think about leaving them too much time. Because one, they know how to make those long running drives and bleed up the clock. But they've been executing through the air. They don't need 5 minutes to score, or haven't needed in this second half.
It's a good point, and I think it could come down to, this could just be a case of whoever's offense has the ball last, as we're going to get another fake handoff here, and that ball's on the ground, I believe.
That ball clearly came out after his body slammed to the turf. So a good no fumble call there by the officiating crew. It's on the 30-yard line. It's a 2-point ball game, under 5 minutes to play.
You're calling your shot like Babe Ruth here.
It's the Battle of the Blue Whale.
The Battle of the Blue Whale has delivered nothing short of a miraculous first. This Titch is just gonna.
He's gonna fire it.
That wasn't Titch that fired it. That was number 7, Colin Treat. They handed it off to him, and he just went ahead and threw it. So the guy can return kicks, he can he can run routes, he can take handoffs, and he can throw the ball. So there's not much he can't do. He's also a safety.
Yeah, that offensive coordinator's pulling out the tricks. He wants to get this ball in the end zone. That was a well-thrown ball. I was surprised. I really thought we were just seeing like a jet sweep, something typical with the speedster. But I definitely was not expecting him to pull up and try to send that ball downfield.
Well, Brady, we've been talking about it. Footy Yang is a great kicker, but this would be a very long try from here if they don't get a first down or 8 more yards.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a 45-yard kicker.
Well, how about from there? How about from the 20?
From the 20, I might give Foodie with the booty a try.
Catoosa, it's worth noting, has 2 timeouts. They can stop the clock a couple times. There's still 4 and change left in this game. And I said they have 2 timeouts. Are they going to take a timeout here? No, they're just going to let it run. Looks like they're going to keep their offense out there, though.
Going to keep the offense out there. Foodie Yang has booted some beautiful field goals here for him tonight. I'm not sure that I wouldn't give him this opportunity because, it is a 4th and 3. Game could be on the line here.
4th down. Let's see what Catoosa has drawn up. Going to try and draw him off sides. Maybe this is a case of where they just try and draw him off and then call a timeout, and they will.
Yeah, I fully think we're going to see Foodie come out here and try to give him an opportunity to boot one through. I could be wrong, but he's been on left and right.
I think I have to agree with you. He's been a great kid. We saw him in warm-ups. We saw him in the game do what he's done. If you've got a trustworthy kicker like that, I'm not sure why you don't give him a chance. Okay, let's hypothetically talk about what if they don't give their kicker a chance. What if they think it's too far out or too much pressure? Where are you looking to if you're the offensive Catoosa?
So, if I'm Catoosa, I'm treating this play like this play is deciding the ball game. Because if Claremore gets the ball rolling, they're going to milk that clock. We've used a couple of timeouts this drive. We don't have the ability to stop the clock like we would like to have. So if that run game gets going, the clock is gone. So if I'm not kicking it here, I don't have the faith in my kicker, we had better be pulling the best play out of the book, something that we keep back there and that we only practice.
And look who's going to trot out to try and give him the lead.
Foodie Yang.
Foodie Yang.
Foodie Yang in the house in the battle for the Blue Whale.
The battle for the Blue Whale. could come out or could come down to a kick. It is something you don't see a whole lot in high school because it's a hard position to fill, and it's going to be an attempt. Footy Yang kick is long enough. It's up, and it is good.
Footy with the booty.
Footy Yang.
Battle of the Blue Well. The Indians take a 1-point lead. 3:40 remaining in the fourth quarter.
That one would have been good from 10 yards farther out.
Yeah, they have got a very valuable weapon that can help them later in the season as they continue to find their offensive identity in Footy Yang.
I got to tell you, I haven't seen a whole lot of kickers at the high school level do that. That is an impressive.
I've seen one.
You've seen one.
I've seen one. There was a foreign exchange student coming from overseas. It was a big-time soccer player, and this was 10 years ago that we was calling the game, and literally he could kick a 40-yard field goal, and they won the ball game with that leg. It's not something like you said. You don't see it a whole lot.
Well, if this Catoosa defense can bear down, then Footy Yang has just won them the game.
Footy Yang will be my player of the game.
If
the Indians
if this
can win
holds,
this
you know
thing.
what, Brady, I'm not sure I can disagree with you. You've come up with great branding for this game.
That's right.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. If Claremore can't find an answer, and
we're going to get some Blue Whale T-shirts and some Footy with the booty, like a foot kicking a football shirts coming this way.
We'll get together with the Catoosa AD and see if we can work out a licensing deal.
There we go. Do they get name, image, and likeness deals in high school?
I'm not sure. I think they should. I don't know if they do or not, actually. But here we go. Footy Yang going to kick it off, and we'll see what Claremore's special teams and offense can do here. Couple men going to miss.
I don't know if they're going to see it. Look, there might have been a block in the back, but I don't see any flagstone down around the 18-yard line where it occurred. But here we go. This is the ball game here. Zebras down by 1, 3:35 to go in the ball game. If you're Claremore, what do you do?
You have to put it in the end zone because we have seen zero from their kicker to understand if he's good or not.
Is 3 minutes and 35 seconds enough time to lean on that run game?
No, I think you have to. You don't have to abandon it completely, but you have to pass it a little bit. And we're going to see a start from the run game here, and it's going to be Scout Cutzinger, their quarterback, who's done a really good job managing the game thus far for the Zebras. And now that clock starts running.
Clock's rolling. He picked up a gain of 2 on the play. I do think that's something you need to try to avoid is those short gains that keep the clock rolling.
You got to bounce it out and get to the outside if you're going to run it and try and get to the.
Claremore's been successful giving their skill players the ball in space. They need to stick to that multi-receiver look right now. Okay, here they go. They're coming back out to the side, but they had 0.
Yep. 2 wide receivers out to the near side now for Claremore. Going to throw the ball. If he can get somebody open. Delayed opening, and that's picked off.
That is picked off.
Who else besides Colin Treat? He can do it all, and he just might have sealed the game for
That's
Catoosa.
His second pick of the game. He had the one early on at the 3-yard line that set up a 97-yard drive, and after the Footy Yang field goal to regain control by 1, he has just taken the momentum himself and grabbed that ball out of the sky. The Cutzinger threw it up for grabs. There was a lot more Indians in the area of that football than there were Zebras, and they came away with a very, very critical turnover at this point in the game.
Just a case of forcing something that wasn't there, and you really didn't have to have that deep of a pass there, but they tried it. Worth noting, Claremore, 3 timeouts, so if they can get 3 consecutive stops, they're still in it. And that's going to be hard to do if you give up 15 yards right there, as they just did. That'll be on the gain, number 28. Was that 28?
Was it 28 or 29?
29, maybe. 25. It's Ivan Hankins.
Hey, have we seen Hankins at all tonight?
We haven't.
So we don't have any size information. Maybe he's a bigger, a little more physical back coming in.
Maybe more ball security.
Fresh legs come in, try to finish this ball game out. 2:39 to go. It has been a battle of the Blue Whale.
As many times as you can get it out there tonight. New set of downs for Catoosa, and they're going to go ahead and run it, and I would expect a timeout here from the Zebras.
Maybe a little early for a timeout. Oh, no, they're going to call it. I would think they'd maybe get the 3rd down before they would burn that timeout.
If you don't start burning timeouts now, though, you have to worry about they're going to have to come out and exclusively pass. If you could maybe, well, you're almost in Footy Yank territory, but if you can get it back with 2 minutes or so to go, you don't have to totally abandon that run game. But it's going to be a hard ask, especially with how well backup quarterback Case and Titch has come in and run the ball.
With 2:25 left, if I'm Catoosa, even if I don't get points on the board, I am making sure the Zebras burn their timeouts.
Absolutely.
Even if it means they take the ball over on downs, we are going to take that risk, put it on their offense, and tell them, hey, look, we don't think you can score in 2 minutes. You know, we just saw what happened when you tried to throw the ball the last drive. You know, so challenge them, put that defense back out on the field, and if that happens, we're in for an exciting finish.
I do wonder, with how well Titch can run, do you call maybe a play action here where it's, if you don't find anyone absolutely open, you just go down and stay in bounds? Maybe try and get that first down.
Hey, I'm telling you, I think we get Titch rolling towards the right side of the field, and if his man's not there, beat the guy to the corner, and just get what you can, but stay in bounds. Do not run out.
Anytime you give, and going to be just another run straight up the middle, going to be close to a first down, but just short.
Easy third and manageable here.
Third and it's less than a yard, I would say. And Claremore, if they called another timeout, no, they're going to let the clock run here.
Yeah, third. It's going to look like a 3rd and 2. So I think if Claremore gets the stop here, they'll burn a timeout and take it to 4th down. I'm not sure how many timeouts they have left at this point. Have they called 1 or 2?
I think they have 2 left.
2 left. So I think they call a timeout after this play and then try to have 1 timeout left if they need to try to kick a field goal if they can get downfield.
Where do you go with this ball right now?
I keep it in my quarterback's hands.
And doesn't matter.
Got the free first down.
And it's going to be a defensive penalty on Claremore. And it's not totally over yet, but with only 2 you can only stop the clock now twice if you're Claremore. It's just become much harder. And now you're well within the kicking range of Footy Yang.
Inside of 2 minutes, I do believe you do have the shorter play clock.
I do believe.
25 seconds. So they're not going to be able to pull the 40 seconds off per play. But you've got to think about burning those timeouts now and trying to get the stops on first down and try to get them to throw for the 3rd down and give your offense a shot.
Well, here we go. This is the ball game, folks. Titch's going to get the snap and hand it off. And who else but Mike Barnett? And he's going to get a couple yards, and he's going to be stopped. And I'm not sure they're going to call a timeout here just yet.
I think they're going to wait and see what happens on 2nd down. And I don't think if the clock doesn't stop after this play, they're going to burn one. For 3rd down, try to leave their offense with as little time as they can. Try to get the ball downfield. And we haven't seen them kick a field goal. We don't know what their possibility is, but we are under a minute to go in the battle of the Blue Whale here in Catoosa, Oklahoma tonight. Hey, branding is everything.
Going to send that off and get a trademark.
Don't judge me, Cannon.
I'm not judging anyone. And just another simple run for Barnett. And
I expect a timeout here.
You would think a timeout now. Yeah, you got to call it with 37 seconds left.
Yeah, so they've got another timeout in pocket to stop the next play. But then they're out of timeouts. It is, go big or go home, tip ball drill, whatever it takes to try to get the ball from one side of the field.
See how well Cutzinger can throw the ball downfield. But now, more importantly, you're in field goal range here if you're Catoosa, so you can put it well out. You can put it out of field goal possibilities at least if you want to.
Again, here's the crazy part for the Zebras is if this score stays the same, it's another 1-point loss, another very competitive ball game. That the only the difference in this game right now is those turnovers.
And we saw a really great resurgence from the Zebras coming out of halftime. They ran the ball effectively. Their defense looked lively, but Catoosa snapped awake sometime in the 4th quarter and said, hey, we got to win this game.
It all comes down to me, if this stays the same, that fumble on the 2-yard line down here on the north end. That was game-changing potentially.
Well, here's the ball game. 3rd down and 7, and they're going to get a stop here. It's going to be well within field goal range for Catoosa, but Claremore is going to get a chance at the ball again, barring something unforeseen happening here.
You got Barnett. Now, here, question here. We don't know if they can kick a field goal. They have no timeouts if the ball gets moved to get set up to make it happen. Maybe spike the ball. If you are the Indians, do you put the ball on the foot of Foodie, or do you run the ball again here?
Well, if they
make them drive the field 90-plus yards.
I think the more field you can put in front of that Claremore offense, the better. Specifically because we haven't seen an effective pass game yet.
Right. That's where I'm at. I'm thinking even if we turn the ball over, we're making them drive 90-plus yards in 30 seconds.
That's a great thought out of you, Brady. I didn't even think about that because we don't know what their kicker's like, and the more field you can put in front of that offense, the better. That being said, if you run the ball, you put it in the hands of Titch, and maybe he can make something happen on the outside, you get that first down, then whatever we just said is out the window. You can take a knee and go home with a win.
Absolutely.
But looks like I don't see Yang out there, so they're going to keep it's a good call from you, Brady. They're going to keep the offense on the field.
Here we go. First down is the end of the ball game.
What can they do? Can this Claremore defense step up and give their offense one last hope? And I'm not totally sure if Catoosa is going to snap it here. And that's why I'm up here and not on the field calling plays, as they're going to snap it, but it's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're going to leave the Zebras with 89 yards to drive to pay dirt in 24 seconds.
Which is a big ask for an offense who does not have an effective pass
averaging
game.
64.5 yards a game through the air. This is very unlikely for the Zebras to make this happen, but crazier things could happen at the Battle of the Blue Whale. So, that being said, the downfield throws have not looked good for the Zebras. I mean, the last one was just thrown up for grabs and was easily picked off by number 7, Colin Treat. And you best believe this defense is going to keep everybody in front of them to finish this game.
Well, the ball game is here, and they're going to throw it. That's not where you want to be throwing it, though, right across midfield with no timeouts.
No, definitely. That was dangerous. I mean, if he catches that ball, you lose 10, 12 seconds there.
Wonder if it looks like there might have a different quarterback in there. Maybe somebody with more arm, but it looked like that didn't look like Cutzinger throwing the ball back there.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see what they dial up here. I mean, they've got to try to go long, and they've got to keep it on the perimeter. They can't run the football. It looks like we're going to have a timeout, or they want the play clock pushed up.
So it's like Braxton Etheridge back there at quarterback. It looks like number 10 back there.
Maybe bigger arm, like you said, trying to get the ball downfield.
Etheridge going to survey his options and throw it deep down there. That's going to get past everyone. And you're at third down and 10 with 14 seconds to go.
I'm not sure I agree with that. Even if he's got the bigger arm, to bring a guy in that hasn't been playing these snaps for 4 quarters, that's not in rhythm at all, that's cold off the sideline, and just saying, hey, bud, we're putting the game in your hands, try to go out there. I'm not sure if that's a good decision at this point in the ball game, or if it sends the right message to Cutzinger.
Well, they just keep hurling up prayers, and really nobody's gotten on an end of one yet.
14-6 to go.
Third down and long. Etheridge just going to survey it, try and stay behind the line, then throw it back across his body. That's not a great idea. He's got to get out of bounds, otherwise this game's over. He's going to get down the line, and there's 3 seconds, 2 seconds,
out of bounds,
and he's out of bounds with 2.7. Wow. And that's a great catch right there. Larry Wisenhunt, the preferred target of both quarterbacks tonight on the play, and he did a great job making 2 men miss to get out of bounds.
Very dangerous throw. Had they stayed home, had somebody been there, easily could have went to the other end zone.
And we're going to get a timeout now from Catoosa.
Definitely. If you're Catoosa, why not use that timeout? There's 2 seconds on the clock. The message from the coach is going to be clear here. Listen, we're not putting any pressure on the quarterback this play. I think we're dropping 7. We're keeping the play in front of us. Make a tackle.
You've got to make the tackle. Maybe you put some offensive stars back there, but you've got to keep everything in front of you here if you're the Catoosa defense. And if you're Claremore, you're in a position to see if you're not going to get pressure, how far can Etheridge throw this ball? Because you're near midfield. That's 50 yards in the air is a big ask for a high school quarterback, but it's possible. But what a game in the inaugural Battle for the Blue Whale.
I'm happy you've adopted the terminology here tonight, Ken.
Oh, I loved it. The first time I heard it, I loved it. I've just been letting you get the branding out there.
Sounds much better than Battle of Rogers County Part 2.
Yeah, Part 2 doesn't sound great, like you said earlier. It just doesn't. Now they're gonna drop. Looks like out of this huddle, Catoosa's gonna drop a few players back there. One of them is their star receiver, Colin Treat. He's also a safety, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, great decision to have Colin Treat back a little deeper. He's got the speed to close on anybody in the open field, and they're just going to, trust him if it comes down to it as the senior leader on this team to make a play as time expires.
Here's the ball game, folks. And if you don't get that throw up, they didn't get that throw up. That's the ball game.
Ball game. You do not. You cannot take a sack at all. I mean, if nothing else, you cannot take a sack there. But how about the Indians here tonight in the Battle of the Blue Whale?
That was about as much as you could ask for a fun night in Catoosa, Oklahoma, and more. And just an incredible display of offense on both sides. Two very different offenses. And it looks like there are some students on the field rushing, enjoying their Friday night, the start to their weekend, as the teams get together at midfield and shake hands for a great game. We're going to take a break and come back here to wrap it up from Catoosa, Oklahoma. Our final, Catoosa Indians 19, the Claremore Zebras 18.
Today's game is brought to you in part by T-Lake Apparel Company, specializing in sport uniforms and accessories, custom orders to fit your needs and budget. From youth leagues to professional sports, call T-Lake at 580-977-6452. And by Champion Custom Jewelry, trusted company that can provide quality at a great look to fit your budget. Trust Champion Custom Jewelry. Contact them at 580-977-6452 or on Facebook at Champion Custom Jewelry.
The College of Education at Northeastern State University prepares educators, mental health providers, and fitness or health professionals with undergraduate and graduate programs. Choose from degrees in elementary, secondary education, special education, health and human performance, psychology, and more. Be ready from day one at Northeastern State University.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
And welcome back to Catoosa, Oklahoma. Brady and Cannon up here in the booth. And that game lived up to the billing and a little more. It was a fun night. And let's go ahead and cover our star player of the game. It's number 7, Colin Treat, the receiver and safety.
Yeah, Colin Treat, we were told was going to be an impact player in this game from the very, very beginning. We did not know what to expect 100%, but 2 huge interceptions, one that led to the 97-yard touchdown drive early in the game, and the one right here, right in front of us at midfield that kind of sealed this game with that last drive for the Indians. But we have another player we want to recognize here, Cannon.
You gotta give an honorable mention. I can't believe I'm saying this at the high school level. The kicker, Foodie Yang. He was incredible tonight, wasn't he, Brady?
Foodie was unbelievable. We was actually questioning where his range was at. He was dead on accurate. He had plenty of leg for that last kick to even have gone another 10 yards out. I mean, it was a great kick by Foodie. They got out of here with a 1-point win. What a way to have a game finish for the inaugural Battle of the Blue Whale.
It's been an incredible night here from Catoosa, Oklahoma.
I love it. Did you hear that?
Yeah, you heard that. To the students' thunderous applause, your name has stuck for better or worse. It is now the Battle of the Blue Whale. And a great start to your football weekend. Thank you for joining us on the Southern Sports Network. From Brady Salyers and our producer, Chris Dodson, I'm Cannon Poor saying so long from Catoosa, and have a wonderful evening.